Okay, so here we go at Optus Oval. Carlton and Brisbane. What a classic it's going to be on Saturday afternoon football on 7. And there's the first bounce. And McDonald, he's a springboard, isn't he? Wins it immediately to Voss, who kicks inside 50. Chance here for the Blues to take possession. Charging through is Franchina. Couldn't get it. Hickmott clever at ground level. Handball towards Massey. Ripped off the football by Voss as the handball comes towards Camporelli now. Shows his class, steadies up. And the short pass has been marked by the three-time best and fairest, the evergreen Craig Bradley. Lays it off back to Camporelli. His kick was uncustomarily ordinary on that occasion. Goes again though, does some good work. McKay bursts the pack. Did pretty well. Scott's in there also. Handball again from the Blues. They try and get something going with little effect. And a real scrimmage early on here as Franchino with a little underground handball, if you like, to Bradley. Ripped off it again, probably in his back on that occasion. Holding the ball, said the umpire. That was red hot, wasn't it?
Gee whiz.
Wow.
There we go again here, Hutch. He's gone to step him. No, not a bad decision after all.
Johnson for the Lions, of course, a former Fitzroy player himself. And we saw the Fitzroy legends honoured in the pre-game today. Ashcroft, the game's record holder for the Brisbane Lions with 2:46. Now Scott again. Kicks inside 50. Big fly at the back from Alistair Lynch. He's found some good form.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what, I've seen a little bit of the Brisbane Lions this year, in fact, more than a little bit, and he's just a player that's starting to get back to a little bit of his old form. He seems to have improved week by week, and he's really starting to attack the ball and grab it with good, strong hands.
And his best ever goal-kicking season in 2000, after 14 seasons, was 68 goals. The kick on this occasion hasn't got the distance, and the ball spills over the back for a - score.
Just watching here, Jace, a few matchups in the Carlton forward line. Anthony Koutafidis will be picked up by Darryl White. You got Whitnell, and Martin Pike got the job on Whitnell. Bit of surprise there. And Mal Michael playing on Stephen Silvani.
The Blues break to the grandstand side. Christou has a path cleared for him, and that enables him to have 3 bounces. Wolf goes around Optus Oval. Good to hear that back in fashion. Now Ratton. Franchina again trying to get the handball out. And the umpire will reward the Blues' hard work. Evangeline paid to Hickmott. Spots up Hume just outside.
So Silvani on the lead.
Look at that.
Silvani's on. Should take the mark. Could have gone a bit harder at that one occasion. Thought we might have seen one of those customary dives there, Jason, but just popped a little bit because just a lot of football. Black. Kick to the centre of the ground was marked on this occasion by Picken. Here comes Picken. As Billy used to yell, his old man kicks towards Johnson. They've cocked it up again. And the Blues can clear here through Hickmott towards half forward. A second chance for Silvani. And Churton's don't make the same mistake twice. He's got it at half forward. Been given a lot of room this afternoon already, Silvani. As he squares up to Hume. One of the really improved players in the Carlton outfit, this guy. He's almost written off by some as a league footballer and has developed into a tremendous player. On that occasion, Ackermanis read it better, the short pass, cut it off. Rapid in there also. The Brisbane Lions will just try and hold it up and we'll have a bounce.
Well, the problem they got at the moment, the Blues, is when Hume had that ball, there were no tall targets up forward. Silvani hadn't made it back there, and Koutafidis, who's starting up forward, is basically playing like another midfielder. He's dragged Darryl White up and just running on the ball. So they need to at least get one of the tall targets back deep in the forward line to take the big mark.
And of course, Favola sitting on the interchange bench so far. Here's Whitnell back in form last week. Pumps it inside 50. Big fly at the back from Franchina. Michael versus Silvani. And Michael just paddles it through for a - score.
And I'll tell you what, that's a sign of recognition for Nigel Lappin. He's playing at half-back, and Anthony Franchina's following him around.
Tagging him around there,
Tagging him in the back
no doubt about that.
Because he does give them a lot of drive from half-back.
As well, too, Jason, Lance Whitnell's playing a fair way up the ground as well, which probably would suit Martin Pike, who does travel over the ground pretty well, Pikey.
Ashcroft, the designated kicker for the Brisbane Lions, it would seem, brings the ball back in. Towards half-back, McDonald with the big fly. Chance at the fall of the football. And now Voss, a dinky short pass towards Ackermanis, who couldn't maintain his feet. He'll need to. Wrapped up by Ratton, who wants holding the ball. The umpire said it wasn't so.
Just trying to work out here, Jace, a few midfield matchups at the moment. I think I've got Voss with Bradley. I'm not quite sure that one. And maybe Ackermanis and Ratton, or it could be Black and Ratton at this stage.
Ackermanis and Camporelli at the moment
Is
going
it?
at it. Yep. Black and Ratton.
And he's opposite number 43. Don't see that very often. Bo McDonald. Now 44 Lappin. Pumps it inside 50. And Manson was able to punch the ball away for a throw in. Some high numbers in action there.
It's interesting to see Clark Keating playing up forward for the Lions. Hasn't trained much over the last 4 or 5 weeks, so it's a big ask just to step straight back into it.
Important player there, Jason, particularly if Mark Porter can get on top of Bo McDonald. Of course, Keating can go into the ruck.
Keating takes it out of the sky, tries to go alone. Carlton get numbers back. The ball goes over the boundary line for another throw-in.
Just some of those key matchups in defence for Carlton. Simon Beaumont is giving away a lot of size, picking up Jonathan Brown. And you've got Glenn Manton on Alistair Lynch, and Ange Christou, again, giving away some size on Clark Keating.
Keating did well again, did beautifully in fact. Black handball didn't hit its target. A few mistakes early in this game. Hume bursts off defence, runs away and attacks the football, has one bounce, goes
no one
in
to
with
kick
a
to.
second.
Absolutely no one.
Absolutely no one on. And that is a legacy of the flooding tactics in action this afternoon. We'll get back to Jason Dunstall on that in a moment, because Freeborn bursts away, kicks towards half forward. Whitnell's got back, and again there's no one on for the Blues. And the Lions are able to clear this occasion through McDonald. Kick towards Notting, who couldn't take the mark. Handballed out from Houghton to Freeborn. Again, they have to square it up. Carlton waiting for someone to get forward.
Should have had Cooter up forward on that occasion.
Yeah. Tell us what happened there, Jace.
Look, when Hume broke from half back, everyone had pushed that far up the field. He had to turn around and go back just because there was nobody ahead of him. It's a ludicrous thing to see in football, isn't it?
No doubt about that, Jason. As you said before, you got marking powers like Cooter, Whitnell up there, forward line. Sylvania.
What about that for a pass?
Good pass there. Is that big bow, was it?
Yep, off the deck.
Euro 2000 stuff that. It ends up with Pike, who pumps it inside 50. Keating looks in an ominous mood today. And the Carlton defence have found out all about that. It'll be a free kick as Keating goes to ground. We'll keep an eye on him in a moment. Hickmott had plenty of the football early on, ripped off on this occasion by Ashcroft.
Super tackle.
And the look on Hickmott's face knew that he was holding the football.
Yeah, Keating looks fine, boys. Obviously just knocked the breath out of himself in that marking contest.
6 possessions to Hickmott so far. Squares the ball up on this occasion, and the mark was taken by Shattuck. Here's Scott, kicks inside 50. Porter in front. Manton was doing a bit of holding on Lynch, and Porter will get the free kick at the end. Now Camporelli. No one on again.
Still no one to kick to.
Absolutely no one on. They've got too many numbers back. And it's certainly keeping Brisbane from scoring, but it's not helping Carlton score. We wanted a real slugfest here this afternoon. Freeborn with 2 to beat. Bottled up. Trying to get it out. And holding the football in the end. Probably fair enough. He was camouflaging the effort a little bit.
In the end, it was the right decision, but it was a great effort to take on the 2 Lions in the first place and cause the turnover.
Probably against the spirit of the rule a little bit, that too, isn't it? The person making the effort and the player gets penalised, but still, that's our game as Picken takes the mark. And 34 players on this half of the ground.
Unbelievable.
And 2 on the other half. So very hard for Brisbane to get a goal. The inside 50s we'll check in a moment because they've done all the attacking. Now Camporelli clears.
3 on 1.
3 on 1.
Carlton just need a pinch one on the break here. Lappin, very clever indeed was Matthew Lappin. Had 3 to beat. Kept on fighting. Couldn't take it. Now Picken again. Beautiful kick to Ackermanis.
Well
Isn't exciting? His confidence is up. He takes the player on and pumps it inside 50. Lynch read it better than Manton. And Manton's face tells the story. Lynch has kicked the goal. 7-4 inside 50 at the moment to Brisbane. And this will be their first.
What about the great play from Jason Ackermanis? He knew he was about to get grabbed as he marked it, and he just turned on a sixpence and took off. And there's nothing that a forward prefers than a one-on-one contest with a ball kicked long and high to his advantage. And Alistair Lynch just a little bit too strong.
Too strong for Manton. Jason
Just working Manton under the ball.
Yeah,
yep.
no doubt about that.
The one problem with Alistair's game has been his conversions. He just needs to steady and kick the goals.
Shouldn't miss him there, Jay, surely.
Kicked 68 last year, as I mentioned. His best season in 14. Hard to believe when you think he's on a 10-year contract with the Brisbane Lions. Lynch kicks at goal and drills the goal.
Well, it was great play there from the Brisbane Lions. I think, Jason, you did mention the fact that when Carlton have gone forward, there was 3 on 1 there at one stage there in favour of the Brisbane Lions. I think Martin Pike won the ball, fed the ball out.
3 on 1 to start with, Jay. You can see it here, and then it became a 4 on 2.
4 on 2, and of course Pike gets a ball here. Once we can see, getting the ball across there to young Picken. Finds Ackermanis. I mean, it's just brilliant play. I thought he was going to get caught here. Great football by Ackermanis. Lynch takes a strong mark, kicks a goal.
So Alistair Lynch kicks the Lions' first goal. Reward for a lot of hard work in the early part of the game. McDonald again doing well in the ruck early. Paddled on by White. Charging through is Black. Freeborn rode the tackle. Handball out towards Jonathan Brown. who was held. The umpire spotted it. The Carlton faithful here don't like it. It'll be a free kick to Brown. Squares it up to Chris Scott. Goes inside 50 with a pass, and Porter blocked the gap, did well. And the Blues were able to clear through Beaumont towards centre wing. Again, no one on. And Pike just led Whitnell easily to the football. Kicks for touch. Christou manages to keep it in just. And that kick, unfortunately, has gone woof, way over the fence. Out of bounds on the full.
Just struggling, Jace, at the moment. Carlton up in their half-forward line. Surprising you got Whitnell and, of course, Kouta-Fiddi's your two marking options.
Well, at the moment, you've only got two players behind the ball, and that's Silvani and Michael. So if there's a quick turnover, there's nobody to kick to.
Shattuck squares it up to Chris Scott. They go right across the face of the ground here, and they've got a link on at the moment, because it will end up with Picken, who's having a profound impact early on in this game. Kicks inside 50, again to a contest, which is not the way football's headed, kicking the contest. Very few contests this year as opposed to previous years. Kouta-Fiddi's ignites the crowd here as he clears towards Lappin. Couldn't take the mark. Now Freeborn lays it off to Kouta-Fiddi's, who does it easily, like a steam engine charging through.
Shock.
Massey coughs it up to his opposite number 3. The brilliant Michael Voss takes all the time in the world. Even he misses a target, though. Some skill there is out there at the moment.
Great tackle.
Camporelli, Ackermanis. He's full of confidence, Ackermanis. He's doing everything right at the moment. Voss comes through again, steaming through towards half forward. It was 4 against 1. And in the end, it was Lappin who just read the play better and took the mark.
Well, they've dragged him forward now. He started at half-back, and whether he's still playing there, it's hard to tell. He covers that much of the ground, but certainly taking Franchina into the attacking 50, and again, working him underneath. The ball kicked to his advantage.
Look a bit cleaner, Jace, at the moment, the Brisbane Lions, particularly in midfield, the way they've used the foot, even though Voss did miss a target a minute ago.
So Nigel Lappin kicks on goal, and it drifts away to the right, minus score.
Well, you'd back him 10 times out of 10 on the run, but from a set shot, you could just see a little bit of a stutter in the run-up, couldn't you?
Absolutely.
It's funny, boys, maybe there is something in Kevin Sheedy's comments about the football, because the skill level at this stage, for the fact that there's not much wind, is pretty ordinary.
Yeah, fair cause.
I think also highlighted by the fact that there's so much flooding, you've really got to pinpoint the passes.
Just seen Clark Keaton there, Jace, on the bench, of course, starting that forward pocket.
Okay, so some danger signs early for the Blues. Hume rides the bump. Porter trying to get it away. It's pushed in the back. And a massive roar goes around Optus Oval for a Carlton free kick. And it will go the way of Porter. Lays it off to Christou, who's linking up nicely. Kicks towards centre wing. Lappin with the ride. That was Lappin of Carlton. There are 2 playing today. There's the other one. Nigel, the cousin, to Ashcroft. Short pass, beautifully done. Really linking well here through Headland. Kicks inside 50 towards Lynch. Takes it on the bounce. Turns it inside out. Does a U-turn and kicks a ripper. That's a beauty from Alistair Lynch.
Well, I tell you what, he has every reason to be excited about that as he kicks his second. That's the Alistair Lynch of old. He attacked the ball, but once he took it cleanly on the bounce, what about the acceleration? He tucked it under the arm, and all of a sudden he had the confidence just to turn at a very tight angle and just thread it through. This is worth having another look at, because that is classic full forward play. Alistair Lynch, the kick comes in short. Now he accelerates, really goes, and threads it through from a very tight angle. Brilliant.
And well might he smile, Alistair Lynch. Electrifying stuff has got the Brisbane Lions up and running here at Optus Oval. He's kicked the first 2 of the game. He's kicked it behind also. And he's put the Lions off to a beautiful start at the moment. They go again through the centre. They're killing them at the moment. Black, Notting went in hard. Freeborn's been working hard also. And another bounce.
Now, Jason, I know it's only early days here, but I just reckon if Lynch kicks one more, don't be surprised that Steve Silvani may go back to where he's played so much for the fullback.
Well, they've always got that up their sleeve.
Haven't they? Yeah, if he kicks one more, it could be on.
Fullback of the century, of course.
Yep.
Seems incredible, doesn't it? The fullback of the century. Not playing at fullback, but still, such is the versatility of Stephen Silvani. Hume kicks towards centre wing. Good chance here. Ridden into the ground was Houghton, and he played that cleverly as well.
Yeah, he did.
Handball off to Camporelli. Again, no options on. He has to square it up. Kouta-Fiddi's couldn't take it. Lappin turned his opponent inside out. Left foot snap. It was magnificent football. And Lance Whitnell has taken the mark. Exciting player, Matthew Lappin, isn't he? He's added an extra dimension to Carlton up forward.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Hutch. Lappin's only had the... just trying to find his name here. Jace had the one kick, but gee whiz, that was a great play. Good play too by Whitnell to lose Martin Pike, who's probably 15 metres off.
And the Blues are on the scoreboard. Lance Whitnell makes no mistake.
Well, they needed that one, the Blues, because Brisbane had made the good start. They'd kicked the first couple, and in actual fact, that is Lance Whitnell's 200th goal in AFL football in his 99th game. So working on an average of around 2 a game. And we could just see there the first time that Matthew Lappin was able to get into the game. And just getting it forward to Lance Whitnell. And I'll tell you what the great thing in the middle now is. You've got Voss and Koutafidis going head-to-head.
That'll be fantastic. That will. Looking forward to that this afternoon. Stick around on 7 as McKay gives the handball out the back towards Beaumont. Ducks inside then outside. Freeborn. Hurried left foot kick. There's Koutafidis. Attacks the football. Just seems to fall in his arms all the time. Ratton ripped off it by Black, who's playing in pretty close. Koutafidis goes again. Cool level-headed handball towards Freeborn. Camporelli again, who's also been congested for room this afternoon. Whitnell again. Now Silvani decides to go outboard. Beautiful football there. Ends up with Camporelli again. He's pretty good from these angles. Shot on goal wasn't bad. And a minor score as the Blues just starting to get the engine up and running a little bit.
Certainly are, Hutch. At the moment, just watching, you mentioned the Brett Ratton matchup on Simon Black.
Yep.
Simon Black's had 5 touches, Jace, and Brett Ratton's only had the 1 at this stage. There's the replay of the Camporelli kick across there. A good defence there by the Brisbane Lions.
Camporelli with 7 touches. Jason Ackermanis
What's he got, Jace?
has only had the 1.
1. It's a good one anyway. Remember it. Got him a goal.
Oh, that's an ordinary
Ashcroft's kick
kick.
wasn't good. Bring it in. Voss ripped off the football. Goes again. The Blues with a bit of a chance here if Hume can just get it out. But Voss did well and then stares back at Ashcroft as if to say, what was that kick all about? There's Marcus Ashcroft, the game's record holder for the Brisbane Lions. The leading handball this year was 77. Today kicking in. Congested forward line again.
Good
Black
hands.
to Ashcroft. This is where the Lions can be dangerous when they break. Ackermanis to Lappin. Again will end up with Brad Scott. Chance for Headland. Rode the tackle.
Oh, well done.
Well done again by Lappin. That's Nigel Lappin. I'll try and keep clarifying them because they're both getting plenty of the football. There's Matthew Lappin. Now to McKay as the Blues steam forward towards half forward. Silvani read it better at the back. Couldn't take the mark. Butted up well. Rode the bump. And the handball towards the boundary line was ineffective.
I get great pleasure out of watching Andrew McKay play football. If he is not pound for pound the best defender in the competition, I tell you what, he often gives away height, he gives away size, and he is just dynamic.
Deceptively quick, isn't he?
Yes,
He is
an attacking halfbacker that also nullifies his opponent.
Yep.
I'll second that one, Jason. I remember playing on him quite a bit in my career, and he was one tough opponent.
And a free kick's been paid here. It's been plucked out of the ruck contest. Bo McDonald's not happy. Not happy at all, Bo McDonald. And I'll just have a look at the replay of this because, wow, that's incredible.
How can you get a free kick there, Jay?
He had a little bit of a handful at the front of Whitnell's jumper, but they're both doing it. They're both doing it. You've just got to let that go, surely.
It's a joke, isn't it?
And a goal in the scheme of this game is pretty significant. So Lynch has got 2 and now Whitnell's got 2. It's all square at Optus Oval.
Well, I'm not sure about that, and I think you said it right, Jace. They both had a little bit of a hold of each other
it's
here.
ridiculous.
And to pick one out of your Hutch. Here we are again. We can all see this one. No. There's no free kick there, and I don't like to have a crack at umpires all the time, but you can sometimes. But that was wrong there. That's Whitnell's second goal now. Matter of fact, I think McKay's playing on Picken. He's had 4 or 5 touches as well.
So scores level as Favola comes onto the ground for Trent Houghton. So they've addressed that forward line problem that Jason alluded to a few moments ago. And Aaron Shattuck will pick up Favola. Crazy Joe, as they call him down at Optus Oval after the Seinfeld character. Crazy Joe Favola. We'll have a bounce in the centre of the ground. There he is, Crazy Joe.
He's the one you'd like to see start out of the square because he does lead like a traditional full forward.
Is that Bradley in the goal square there, Joe? So it looks like at this stage.
Yep, he's just dragged Nigel Lappin down.
Yeah.
Lappin picking him up now.
So good tactics there by the Blues. The explosive Ackermanis gets it off to Black. Just signed for 3 years. Kicks inside 50. Beautifully done by Pickett, having a big game. Bounces it awkwardly. It was a shocking kick on goal in the air. We're not having a go because it was terrific.
You can see what was going through his mind. All he tried to do was kick it low end over end and dribble the ball through. But the mistake that he made, and I don't know if he got much of a call from his teammates, he could have tucked it under the arm and run 10 metres.
Yep, fair call.
Camporelli again getting some possessions, but hasn't really done some damage with them yet. That was his 8th possession, 7 kicks. It's the leading kick getter on the ground.
It's been okay picking too, Jace. We just touched on before. McKay likes to run down the ground and set things up. Pickens, his opponents, had 5 kicks and 3 marks. It should have been a goal just then.
Chris Scott kicks towards half forward. Big fly over the back from Christo, who's back in town. And the ball drills out.
And the Blues have made another change. They've put Anthony Franchina on to Michael Voss. You'll be able to check out all the stats. Perhaps Michael Voss is after today's game on the i7 Sport website. That's i7sport.com.au. But he's now gone to full forward, dragging Anthony Franchina down there.
Good
Pulled
match
up.
up that.
Bounced off the head of White. He didn't see it. Hume. Camporelli with kick number 8. Sun gets in the eyes of Freeborn, but he did pretty well to shield himself. Now Ratton running through the middle. This is where Blues look better. Silvani couldn't take the mark. Ripped off at Hickmott. Christo, who looked to unwind one, gives the handball again to Ratton, who'll charge the goal. Front short pass was good. It was very good. And Bradley just fell at the crucial time, couldn't quite catch it. And the Brisbane Lions are able to clear towards half-back. Here's Darryl White. Low trajectory kick towards Notting, who's in plenty of space. Some really good real estate value here for Notting. Kicks towards full forward. Big pack of players. There's the real tools up there for the Brisbane Lions.
That's a throw.
They're trying to stretch them. Massey, desperate to get the ball away. In the end, Franchina to McKay. Now Koutafidis just takes all the time in the world, steadies up, does beautifully to Lappin.
I'll tell you what,
He's in trouble, Brad Scott.
Scott's limping badly.
He's gone, Bung, I think. He's gone.
Ends up with Ratton. Kick towards half forward to Hume. Couldn't quite take it. Silvani with an underground handball. Some mistakes being made here, though. Michael goes backwards to Pike. Real intensity and pressure through the midfield at the moment. Lappin in front, couldn't take it. And again, some skill errors as Lappin steadies up. No one on again. Real game of zoning this at the moment. Give you one example of how our game has changed as today. Silvani now manages to find some space to Hume. They penetrate the zone beautifully. And Whitnell has the chance to kick number 3.
Gee, they worked that in well then, Carlton. They were on the boundary, they had nothing much. Silvani a short chip to Hume, who was just being conceded the kick. And then Hume off one step as we see Brad Scott getting some attention. It looks like he's rolled an ankle. Then Hume just chips it forward to Whitnell. And really, they've only covered 25 metres down the boundary, but all of a sudden, you've got a bloke having a shot for goal from 35 metres.
I like his chances from here. He kicks very well traditionally from this pocket, Whitnell, and just overcooked it a little bit. Started off on line. And in the end, a minor scored 2 goals, 1 to Lance Whitnell. At boundary line level, Richard Osborne, as we see Brad Scott. First of all, Scott, and second of all, the conditions.
Well, you picked it right, Chase. It looks like he has rolled his ankle. They're checking his left ankle at the moment, but the conditions are absolutely perfect. So it's quite astounding to see some of the skill errors at this stage. But obviously, there's a lot of pressure out there.
Koutafidis takes the mark on centre wing. This is such an imposing figure, isn't he?
Had Porter then, but Porter wasn't sure.
He's still waiting for Porter.
Yeah, he's still waiting for him.
And the more time you take, the more numbers the opposition get back.
Yep.
That's footy these days.
They've got a mismatch. They've got Chris Scott on Mark Porter. They've got to kick it long to him.
Yep, look at this.
Hume. 4 lines,
Now.
fill the hole. Franchina, eyes up the goals, steadies up, awkward kick, drifts away.
Well, that is terrible. All he had to do was get that up in the square, and Mark Porter was a certainty to mark it.
Jeez. But you can see that, Jace. I mean, you can see that the mismatch was there. Anthony Franchina, instead of just lobbing the ball in the air, decided to have a shot for goal. He did the wrong thing.
Ashcroft's been replaced as the kicker in, at least momentarily, by Ackermanis. Little dinky short pass. Found Chris Scott, whose twin brother's off the ground at the moment with an ankle injury. Short pass towards centre half back. Mark taken by Black. Impressive player, this bloke. Kicks towards centre wing. Chance here for the Lions again. Noble did pretty well to get it on to Robbins. Kick towards half forward. Chance here for Jonathan Brown, who we've hardly seen so far today. Been very quiet. Just the one kick. Still early days, though, as the ball goes over the boundary line for a throw in.
See, Craig Bradley's only had the one handball too so far in this game. He did have Voss early in the game, Jace, too, but I think that changes, or certainly has been happening with Franchina going to Voss.
Koutafidis took it out of the sky, tried to get a kick away. And beautifully done from Black. Spotted up Notting out of nowhere then. Notting rides the bump with the handball. And Voss again. And here go the Blues through Christou. Woof goes the Krause. He kicks towards centre wing. Chance here again for Des Headland. Couldn't quite take it. Freeborn's tenacious. Bursts his way through. Paddles it to his own advantage and lays it off to Hickmott. Good play from the Blues as they work it forward. Sits for Camberelli. Lays it off again to Hickmott. Got to spot someone up. He'll go for Silvani at the back. In best position, Silvani has taken the mark.
It's the perfect example of kicking the ball to your teammates' advantage. It was always going to be a one-on-one contest between Michael and Silvani, but you could just see what side of the contest he's on. And all Silvani had to do was hold Michael off, which is no easy thing given the strength of Mal Michael, but did it very well. An excellent kick from Adrian Hickmott.
He's no good thing here, Jace, Steve Silvani.
Five-time All-Australian, you've just hooked into him.
I think he's actually more than that. We'll check on that. There's a goal to Silvani.
That's a good thing.
Silvani's kicked the goal.
Well, great play there by Carlton, moving that ball down, of course, from their back line by using the ball beautifully. So far, we mentioned, Richard Osborne said before, they have turned the football over. This bloke's been terrific, Hickmott, been outstanding. And Christou's had 7 touches coming out of a half-back flank. But as you said, Jason, it was a perfect kick in the right spot to the right advantage for Steve Silvani out in front. Mal Michael was caught behind. Good play by Carlton.
So the fullback of the century has given Carlton a 7-point lead. Approaching quarter time. Hume was in there hard again. Hamill out again towards Headland. Just struggling for touch a little bit early, Des Headland today, just to pick the ball up cleanly.
See, it's been an amazing struggle in terms of matchups here. It started off, they were just going head-to-head, but then it's turned into a real chess match. One by one, coaches are trying to create mismatches, and then there's the counter move by the opposition coach.
Okay, well, the two Bishops do battle. Porter and Noble. Koutafidis, he'd have to be the Castle. Kicks towards half-forward. Beautiful chance here for Pickin. Gives the handball away towards centre wing.
Which one's the queen, Hutchie?
I reckon Darren Hume's the pawn. Kick towards half-forward. Taken by Johnson to Pickin. Short pass inside 50. Chance for Notting. Can turn him inside out here or go boundary side. And that was the wrong option. The ball goes over the boundary line on the full.
Well, it's not more the problem of Notting. It's just young Pickin. He's got to hit his targets and take the pressure off his teammates.
He's getting a bit of the ball too at the moment. Pickin's had 7 touches too, Oz.
Yeah, he's getting plenty of it. I remember seeing him a few weeks back at Colonial. He's running out of half-back with these big, huge torpedoes. He just needs to work on his foot skills.
Glenn Manson will bring the ball back in. The John Elliott stand side. In the end, changes direction, goes to Christou, who takes the mark. And the sound effects will really crank up here as Christou lets go. No, it was only a little mini wolf on that occasion as he went short to Manson.
More a yelp than a wolf, boys.
Cool Aussie. Manson towards half-back. Koutafidis just reads it better than everyone else.
And he's got a punch from behind, Darryl White. You have to punch from behind.
Koutafidis takes the mark, goes for Lappin. Couldn't take it. Camberelli again. Whitner was in there fighting with his own teammate in Hickmott, who might end up with it here. Hickmott had a good start to the game with 10 possessions. Charging there on that occasion looked like Michael Mansfield, who's on the ground. As the siren sounds to end a topsy-turvy first quarter. Carlton really started slowly, but they go into the break with a 7-point lead, 3-4-22 to the Lions, who kicked the first 2 goals of the quarter, 2-3-15.
Yeah, it has been a very interesting first quarter, a bit of a struggle. Nothing very pretty about the game at the moment. Just some teams getting their matchups right. A lot of flooding, a lot of pressure on the play with the ball. It's been hard to pinpoint targets. And for that reason, we've seen quite a few skill errors in the first quarter. But you'd expect the game to open up a little as it progresses and teams start to get their matchups right. An interesting contest here at Optus Oval at quarter time. Carlton 3-4-22 to Brisbane 2-3-15.
All right, so Gary O'Donnell's had the skinhead. Can the Brisbane Lions skin the Blues in this quarter? We're up and running. Camberelli to Beaumont. Kick towards centre wing. Looks good, though. Good mark taken by Lappin.
Oh, he's gone
quickly. Might have been touched in the air. White's in there also. Now Koutafidis dances his way through the pack. Besieged by defenders. Somehow the ball gets squeezed forward. Silvani did pretty well to belt it to his team's advantage. But Scott was there. Lays it off to Pike. Reliably, I was going to say reliably, but it missed its target in the end. And a chance here again for the Brisbane Lions. Good tackling and harassment from Hickmott. And very good defensive skills there from Carlton. Sees the ball over the boundary line. Having a great game, Hickmott, isn't he?
He is, and I think the crowd's certainly appreciating the amount of aggression shown already in this match. And a good crowd at Optus Oval, considering there's an interstate side. I think they're all here anticipating a big game.
Silvani to Ratton. Koutafidis. You weren't saying such nice things about the crowd when you couldn't get your car in about an hour ago, Jason. As the ball went over the boundary line for a throw-in. Special cheerio to the 3 or 4 attendants who cooked senseless outside the ground.
They were very good to me. Craig Bradley again has gone back to the goal square to full forward with Nigel Lappin 1 out.
So suburban footy at its best this afternoon. And you're watching it all on 7. There's that man Hickmott again. Got the handball towards Lappin. Akamanis did pretty well. Just had the presence of mind to squeeze a handball towards Scott, who again kicked off the ground towards centre wing. Brown been well held so far by Beaumont, who's the man for all occasions for the Blues. Black, handball off to Robbins, who just kicked blindly, didn't he? Put the head down when he kicked it. And the mark was taken by Mr. Reliable, Andrew McKay. Kicks to Camperelli, who is always looking to square the ball up. That's exactly what he does. To Hickmott again. Hickmott has had a destructive afternoon, as we mentioned.
Been good, isn't he?
12 possessions now for Hickmott. And Beaumont's got it. And 34 players in this half of the ground again. So really prevalent, the changing face of footy today. Beaumont kicks the Koutafidis.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Darryl White is looking up at the umpires because he was lying flat on his face 30 metres out directly in front of goal while Anthony Koutafidis went and marked that ball. White's got the job of running with Koutafidis in this quarter. And just a nice little check, a nice little block from Lance Whitnell.
Yep.
So there's some of the things you have to do to free up players when they're flooding like this. You've got to create your own space.
The Blues leading goal kicker in 97, Koutafidis. Drifts away to the left, a minor score.
You understand why players have such a hard time pinpointing targets when you get so many of them flooding back. You just see a pretty tough clash there between two of the hard nuts, Darren Hume and Michael Voss.
Akamanis peels off and kicks with his non-preferred foot. He's left towards Noble, who did pretty well, the big fella, and butters up. He had 2 to beat. I reckon that's a good effort. Handball towards Scott. Kick towards centre wing.
Oh, clean ball.
Tunnel ball just completely took out Whitnell. Missed the spare and everything there as Brown takes it. Handball over the back towards Robbins. Kicks inside 50 to a 1-on-1. Lynch is in good form. Can he take it? He couldn't. Ball spills. A sea of Blues there at the moment. McKay and Massey mops up for him to Whitnell. This time no mistake, and the Blues are away towards half forward. The kick towards Koutafidis, who might have gone forward. Dangerous times here for the Brisbane Lions. Chance down for Hickmott. Burrows in, trying to get the handball out, couldn't do so. Voss peels the handball away as a bit of pace goes into the game. Here's Picken. Right on centre wing, kicks towards half forward. Good looking kick to Notting. And Notting will take the mark.
Great hands by Michael Voss, one of the judges. The way he got the ball over the top there to a teammate was terrific play by Voss.
Lynch with a big set, couldn't take the mark. But Beaumont's got it for the Blues.
I'm not convinced about the fact that Nigel Lappin's playing down at full-back. I think he's wasted at that position. I know Craig Bradley's a very smart and sharp player, but Lappin's better suited in the midfield.
Porter lays the handball off to Beaumont, who continues to run through the middle. Lappin, handball away towards the support, and Hume kicks towards half forward. Silvani was read closely by Michael and got the free kick. Well, interesting one, that Chase.
Well, it is. I think the free kick was probably there. I think after the spoil was complete, you can see the left arm around his waist, right arm over the shoulder.
Fair enough.
Probably a free kick.
And boys, the umpire was in an absolute perfect position to play that. So
you're right, Oz.
Well, he's just squared it up to Camperelli. No distance gained. They're probably going to have to kick from 52, 53 metres out. You'd think he'd struggle to get there.
Yep.
He's a good kick, though. Gives it everything. Or just about make the distance. Big fly from Hickmott. Couldn't take it. Houlihan tries to paddle it back. The ball went over for a throw-in.
Now, boys, I checked at quarter time. The ball, to me, it's no different, but interesting. It's not just happening now, it's always happened with footballs. They go down 2 pounds throughout the course of a quarter and they have to pump them up at each break.
There you go.
Great research, Ozzy.
Well done, Oz.
2 pounds, okay. Kick towards centre wing. Here's Massey. Handballs back towards Christou. To Beaumont. Look out for Richard Osman's Weird and Wonderful Things, that show appearing soon.
Shot and kick that.
Good pressure from Des Headland on Andy McKay there.
Yeah, it was.
So Ackermanis, who's been the game breaker for Brisbane in recent weeks. And he squares it up to the veteran in Ashcroft.
I think Gary O'Donnell made a very pertinent point at quarter time. You've got to move the ball quickly. The longer you hang on to it, the easier it is for players to flood back.
The 1-2 ends up with Ashcroft again from Bowman.
He's gone.
There's a shocking handball. He ducked the head. That's holding the football. No question about that. And you can't blame the recipient. You can't blame the youngster there. I think it was Robbins. Silvani's kick on goal is a goal for beauty. That's his second.
Well, it was a very interesting one. Aaron Shattuck was the man that actually ducked his head. But you're right, Hutchie. The first thing you do when you're besieged by a player as soon as you turn around is pull the head in. And he was just wrapped up, ball and all. That's a perfect example of overusing the ball. The Lions were trying to create something out of the back line because the Blues had flooded back. Just looks a little bit ginger after that contact. He has had problems in the groin area, and a player ducking his head could cause problems.
Jeez.
Well, looks in a bit of pain, Silvani. We know he's had problems. Of course, hamstring and then groin, so let's hope he's okay.
Has been wearing a cricket protector.
Yes.
Yeah.
As Beaumont kicks towards half-forward. This will be the test to Silvani here. He falls at the back. Beautifully read by Hickmott. He's on fire this afternoon. Hickmott kicks on goal. And the kick ends up being out of bounds on the full. Really lets down the build-up of the commentary there.
And Hutchie, you said this will test Silvani. He can't run. At the moment, he cannot run. He's limping.
Yeah, fair call, Jace. He is gone. He's going to have to come off.
All right, so the last two goals of the game. Here he comes.
Yeah. Could be a groin again, I reckon.
Well, this is really disappointing.
Well, I think that's what happens when a player ducks his head and you confront it front on. That's where you're going to cop him, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Top of the head.
Well, spare a thought for Silvani at the moment. Looks in a bit of pain. We'll keep an eye out. A couple of clowns in the box here. The free kick will go the Blues' way. Richard Osborne at boundary line level. Have they treated Silvani yet?
Yeah, looking at him as we speak on the deck, but I'll tell you what,
Look at the left knee.
He's very sore. I'll keep up to date with what exact spot it is on the body, but he looks very sore.
Well, we just saw the left knee being attended on the vision there, Jason.
Not a good sign, but the scrappiness continues in this game, doesn't it?
Kick towards Lynch, who was hassled. Should have got the free kick. The advantage will not be paid here. Brown's kick on goal.
No.
That was awful.
Well, he did everything right, Jonathan Brown, except the execution. He took it too easy. All he tried to do was screw the ball around on the left boot, and he caught the ball right in the middle, and it went straight ahead through for a point. But he's been very quiet. He's a pretty good indicator for the Brisbane Lions. When he plays well, they play well. He's had the 5 possessions, but no influence on the game at this stage.
Big job too for Simon Bowman. I think you mentioned Jason at the start of the first quarter. It was a big job for him. He did pretty well.
They do say that Brown has great running capacity for a big fellow, so perhaps it's not that bad a matchup.
Yep.
Quite smart, saying he can run with him.
Of course, taken under the father and son rule by the Brisbane Lions. Manson kick towards half-back.
We're going to see some amazing statistics on short kicks today, aren't we?
Oh, no doubt.
Freeborn kick towards the centre of the ground, and the mark was taken by Simon Black.
Oh, he's called with a jump ball. Ooh. Simon Black can't believe it, and every right. Simon Black's the man in front. He's brought that down cleanly. Unlucky. A little bit going on off the ball. You can see Steve Silvani heading back to the dugout to sit down, but Picken and Ratton were having a go behind the ball a minute ago.
Kudafredi's handball towards Ratton. The Blues work it forward. Porter. We've seen some good soccer skills today. And Whitnell's taking the mark 55 out, turns his opponent inside out, goes to Hume. It'll sit for him. He's got some space to work with here. Steadies up, has to go around Voss, handball back again to Franchina, kick cut off. Ashcroft, beautifully done as they work it forward to Ackermanis.
Oh, gee.
And was written off the football. It's getting pretty tough with the clinches out there. Here's Freeborn's got it, 65 out. The kick was a little bit too high. Chance again over the top though. And Lappin has taken the mark.
Some great work done by Lance Whitnell off the ball. He just used his body to keep Martin Pike out of the contest, and it allowed Matthew Lappin. You could just see Jason Ackermanis slipped, nearly lost his head. But have a look at the work off the ball here. You'll see it in the background. You can see Pike and Whitnell just using the right arm. It allows Matthew Lappin to come in and take the easy chest mark.
Well called, Jace. Lappin yet to kick a goal today. And he has no now. It's his first. The Blues go on their merry way.
Well, it was good work there from the Brisbane Lions initially before that mark from Nigel Lappin. As we can see, there we are, Jason Akermanis once again just slipped over. Maybe wearing the rubber stops, maybe a little bit of give in the ground. The kick there was across, I think it was from Brett Ratton to find Freeborn's been terrific so far in that midfield for the Carlton side. And as Jason called it, a good shepherd there from Lance Whitnell. Good goal to Lappin.
A concerned-looking Lee Matthews there for the Brisbane Lions. And well, he might. The Blues have kicked the last 5.
And Hawk, the important point you just made there was the soles. I wouldn't be surprised if quite a few players are wearing moulders because it's quite lush, and there is a few players slipping, as we saw with Jason Akermanis earlier.
Centre square infringement against the Brisbane Lions.
Silvani up and jogging around the boundary line. Beaumont goes towards half forward. And the umpire's plucked out one here. It'll go to Lappin, I think. There he is, Matthew Lappin. Kicks inside 50 to a contest. Hickmott was ridden off the football. Whitnell with it beautifully. Number 3 for the Big Red.
Well, the Blues really starting to assert some authority on this game now. It seemed to be pretty even in terms of possession up to this point, but now every time the Blues go forward, they look likely to score. Matthew Lappin coming into the game. There's the long kick, and he just read it better. He just read the contest well, finished it off beautifully. We spoke about the matchup between Jonathan Brown and Simon Beaumont. Well, Beaumont in the first 15 minutes or first 12 minutes of this second quarter has had 8 kicks already. So he's doing a great job at halfback.
There's Silvani walking around the boundary line, so good to see him up and about with the fitness guru down there, Peter Shockman. The bounce. Porter. Kudafuti's got the handball away towards Beaumont. Tumble punt towards half forward. Hickmott, who's really killing him at the moment. His handball didn't hit his target. Voss, who's been pretty well held by Freeborn. Just 6 possessions for Voss. Working hard there with Shattuck to Pickett. His kick cut off. They're a little bit unsettled at the moment, Brisbane. You get the feeling. Now Pickett again, got the handball away to Black. Short pass was good. And the mark's taken by the barometer.
Not much ahead of him, though.
Jonathan Brown.
They've got the numbers, the Blues.
Kick towards half forward. Again, the Blues steady up. Manson, they peel to the back end of the pack. Beaumont squares it to Hume, who will go for Ratton in the end.
Oh, yeah.
It finds him, beautifully done.
Umpire's down.
Umpire's just gone down. Flying for his own feet, though, we think. Well, umpire conscious at the moment. Hume goes inside 50. Favola claims the mark. And the umpire's paid it. Mel Michael said it was a Michael Slater catch. He didn't think it happened.
Umpire Gavin Dorr hit the deck there, boys, in the middle of the ground. I think he made his fell out of his own
I think he just slipped getting out of the way of play. Well, I'll tell you right now, I think Carlton's got the mix right. They're still flooding back. They're getting numbers of the contest. But when they look up, once they switch it, they've also got enough free targets up forward, hitting the right spaces to move the ball forward straight away. So they're just starting to get the mix right, the Blues.
I'm in the centre of the ground too, Jason, at the moment. Camporale, Ratton and Kuda are starting to centre bounce with Porter. They're starting on the ball out of the guts at the moment.
Favola can really kick the football. Well, this will do more damage to Brisbane. It's a goal.
Well, we've seen players struggle from that sort of range today. And a little earlier on, we saw Scott Camporale come up about 5 metres short. But on that occasion, Brendan Favola, he is a long kick, a penetrating kick, and that was an absolute beauty. They are away, the Carlton boys at the moment, and Lee Matthews has some real problems on his hands.
John Elliott looks pretty happy, and well he might, because Carlton have kicked the last 7?
They have kicked the last 7. They kicked 7 goals, 5 here, and Brisbane only kicked 2 points since the 13-minute mark of the first quarter.
It's unbelievable. Good statistic, Hawk. Well done.
Thank you.
Massive charges through. Brown there also. Oh, a bit of bucking Bronco action there.
And boys, I think it's pretty significant that Carlton have kicked that 7 goals after they've realised they got to have someone in their forward 50-metre to kick goals.
Exactly.
Win the ball at the centre, aren't they, too, Carlton? They're starting to dominate in that area.
Porter has been one of those reasons. And we'll have another bounce. No, we won't. They work it through. Rugby like scrum. Chance for Headland. Kick towards full forward. Keating. Big fly at the back from Lynch. who had 3 attempts at it, couldn't quite take it. Christo was too cool and belted through for a minor score.
See, there was plenty in that contest, wasn't there, between Christo and Keating? They both had each other in a bear hug. An amazing contest.
Christo kicks it into Franchina, uses his left foot. Probably wasn't the best decision because it wasn't a good kick. And McKay can just steady up, take all the time in the world and kick towards Whitnell. Had too much on it. Here's White for Brisbane. Squares it back inside to Chris Scott. Releases the handball to Ackermanis, who struggled to find space all day. It ends up with Ashcroft. Handball's cut off. Voss in hard. Ackermanis, now he goes. Puts the foot to the accelerator and pumps it long. At the back is Keating. Can he take it? Got his hands on it. Probably should have held it. Steadies up. Goes again. Stub on goal is clumsy to say the best. And Christo can relieve for the Blues towards half back. And only as far as a few lines players here as Ashcroft takes it. Handball back to Shattuck, who kicks towards half forward. And the mark's taken by Robbins. He have a shot at goal to try and stop the flood. No, he just chips it up, hoping for Lynch. Couldn't quite take it. Here's Voss, all class.
Brilliant.
All class from Voss. He's kicked a magnificent goal.
Well, I think you summed it up in one word, Doug. Brilliant. He just he got to the front of the contest. He hit it at about 3/4 pace. Wasn't going too quick that he couldn't change direction. And have a look at the way he wraps his ball up, runs through the gap, and what was a tough shot was made to look particularly easy by a very classy player in Michael Voss, and he's doing his best to get the Lions players fired up here at Optus Oval.
And boys, as that all unfolded, Steve Silvani back on the ground. Great news for Carlton.
So Steve Silvani back on the ground there.
Good news for the Blues because he was looking dangerous up forward, so hopefully that left knee will get him through the rest of the game.
I think too, Jason, that with the old captain's goal, Michael Voss, that was just a ripper goal for him.
Ratton. Been intriguing, these centre clearances, haven't they? Really interesting stuff at the moment because there's some hard work on the bottom of the pack.
I reckon they've been beaten there. Yeah, I reckon they've been beaten there, Hutch. I just reckon they've been beaten in the middle of the ground. Particularly around the midfield centre bounces as well.
I think they've got that ascendancy this quarter. They've really started to get on top.
Looks like on Voss.
Looks like Pike now is picking up Steve Silvani at this stage.
And Craig Bradley, as you've mentioned a couple of times, is playing a sacrificial role at full forward to keep lapping out of the game. Here's Silvani back on. Oh, couldn't quite take it. Terrific effort indeed, though. Here's Vivola, 55 out, decides to have a shot, loads it up and kicks to the post.
Gee, he's got some range on his kicks, hasn't he? He has got an enormous kick on him.
I just wondered if that kick was going to go to Silvani or was it meant to go to Vivola. I'm not quite sure, but Silvani made a good effort to get to that one.
Okay, Ackermanis brings in the ball to Mel Michael, who takes the mark. Of course, traded for Jared Malloy over the summer. Brisbane search for a fullback. Kick towards centre half back. Mark taken by Shattuck.
Where's he going?
Squares it up towards half back. Here's Chris Scott. Peels inside. Kicks towards centre wing. Pull the hand there. Couldn't take it. Bradley, the handball over the top to the advantage of Camperelli. The Jet puts the foot to the gas and kicks inside 50 to Crazy Joe.
Well, they could have raffled that one, the Blues. They had Michael Mansfield, Brennan Favola, and also Jordan Doering right in the space that Camperelli chipped the ball to.
And we're seeing two of their key movers this afternoon. Hickmott and Freeborn also having a rest. Freeborn 11 possessions and Hickmott 14. They've been the two getting them going in the midfield.
There's a bit of a spell.
Part of the rotation, do you think?
Yeah, no doubt about that, Hutch. Bit of a breather. I thought Darryl White could have marked that one in front of us here, boys. I just thought he could have probably took the grab there.
Like his chances here, Jason?
Well, he's been kicking the ball well. One goal, one post, but it was a beautiful kick.
Favola's kick might have been touched off the boot, I think.
Mongrel.
It got too close to the man on the mark. It was touched. And the ball went over the boundary line for a throw-in.
And boys, absolutely spectacular work by Chris Scott on the mark. He really did everything he could to make Favola kick it into the man on the mark, and he did.
Did he crib it all over the mark, Ozzy?
No, he didn't. He just really played it well.
Lance Whitnell having his back
So they've got four of their key movers off at the moment. Whitnell, Porter, Hickmott and Freeborn, as we see the blood rule.
by McDonald, isn't it?
Yep. The blood nose might have just copped an accidental one high.
That's actually Aaron Shattuck, boys.
Was it?
Shattuck, is it? Yeah, good call. Is it? Okay.
By McDonald. Now we're seeing Kudafuti's come off, I think. Is it Kudafuti's?
No, Jordan Doring.
Jordan Doring coming off. Sorry about that. My apologies. Hickmott comes on. We'll get our acts together here as McDonald comes off the ground.
Yeah, Bud McDonald, yep.
Lappin's handball over the back. Pike thought about kicking a goal for the opposition then and changed his mind. Kick towards half-back. Big fly.
Oh, good man.
Favola.
He's having an impact, isn't he?
He's airborne at the moment. Favola kicks inside 50 to Hickmott, just back on the ground. Now Houlihan tries to squeeze a handball out. Couldn't do so. Ripped off the football. Chance again for the Lions to clear. Towards half-back to Brown. Good tackling and harassing by Christo, who's really making a difference. Ackermanis, the handball ends up on this occasion with Robbins. Now Headland got some space to work in. The kick was pretty ordinary towards Mackay. Should take the mark, and he does.
Shocking kick.
50.
Yep, had to be.
Against Chris Scott.
I think once the umpire tells you, Jay, you've got to let go.
Yeah, I reckon Chris Scott was trying to get that reversed because Andrew Mackay was giving him some decent whacks to try and push him away. But in the end, he was just hanging onto the jumper the wrong way, and it's cost him the 50 metres.
Mackay to Beaumont. Kick inside 50. Towards Cooter at the back, couldn't take it. Punched away, Rat in front and square did well. Squeezed it out. Houlihan will finish this off with a goal. Mark that one down to the young man at number 33, Ryan Houlihan.
He's a very skillful player, Ryan Houlihan, and for a young player also has a very cool head. And that's his first kick. Not a bad way to start making an impression on this game. The thing that impressed me the most about this is the way that when he actually gets the ball, he doesn't rush, he doesn't hurry, he just takes his time. He realises he's got a bit of space. Have a look at him steady. He just steadies, he lines them up and hooks it over the shoulder.
Just talking about the centre clearance here, Hutchie and Jace. Carlton have won it 4 times to Brisbane North out of the centre. They dominate that area.
Well done, Hawk. Houghton goes up. Porter, I think, just having a rest.
Make it
that
4-1.
Good call.
Voss kick towards Lynch. The first one they've lost. It's the first time Porter's been off.
There it is.
Handball to Notting. He just missed it. Oh, well. The sublime to the ridiculous that was. It was a terrific handball.
Well, we had one with Marcus Picken in the first quarter, and this time it's Tim Notting in the second quarter. They've missed from virtually point blank.
And the Blues are on the break to clear here. They can run almost to centre wing here. Houlihan has 2 bounces. Kicks towards half forward. Silvani was held. Should have been paid the free kick. Wasn't. Mansfield on his non-preferred side. Found it tough. Kick towards Favola, who's made an impact. Mansfield win again. And should get a free kick.
No.
Oh. The umpire says he'll throw it in.
They're under real pressure at the moment, the Brisbane Lions. You can just see the players don't have any sort of time when they get the ball. They are being besieged by the Blues every time they get their hands on the leather.
Silvani, read it best. Got the handball away to Lappin. He's a chance from there, Lappin. Squeezes a kick on goal. Lions scored a result. 5 goals to 1 this quarter. Well, Lee Matthews look concerned at the moment. The margin out to 31 points.
He's caught play on, he's got no one to kick to.
I'm not sure how he played on there, but anyway, Voss kicked it short. The mark was taken by Picken, who's been a good player for them today. Kick to Ashcroft on centre wing. Steadies up, uses the ball well. Brown's just having a bit of a shocker at the moment, dropping chest marks.
I just reckon 2 boys where they're breaking down the Brisbane Lions forward line. Nottingham's had 2 marks, Lynch has had 2 marks, Jonathan Brown's had 1, and Clark Keating's had none. Just really failing to take some marks inside 50 bung at the moment.
And as soon as the ball hits the deck, the Blues have got numbers back and they're running it out.
Maybe Mel Michael might be an option to go, maybe forward to be that marking chance as well. Got to change things now, there's 6 goals down.
Ackermanis did well. He found Voss. They've combined well today. Voss has 2 bounces, looks for an option, kicks it to the advantage of Clark Keating at the back. Can he take it? Couldn't. Did a bit of bullocking.
Sausage.
Kick on goal again from Notting, I think.
Yep, Notting.
That's another one where it looked like Tim Notting was in perfect position just to tow that one through and just couldn't do it. They need these opportunities to stay and touch the Lions because they're really struggling at the moment.
Here's a replay. He's having nightmares about that goal square. He's missed that from a foot. He missed one before from 5 metres.
Always tough to kick a bouncing ball, but they just need it at the moment, the Lions.
Poor old Tim Notting, he can't do a thing right in that goal square at the moment. Lappin Cotton got the handball over the top to Hume. Here come the Blues again. Hume, left foot kick inside towards Favola. Attacking the football well today. Paddled to his advantage. Finally ends up with him. He wants to kick another goal. Handball over the top was good. Chance for Houghton. Lays the handball off to Silvani. Loads it up. Soft's kick on goal is errant. Almost fell over as he kicked it.
Yeah, it wasn't a great one from Sauce. He'd like to have that one over again, I'm sure. The difference between the two sides at the moment, they just have a much more structured forward line, the Blues. It looks dangerous every time the ball goes forward as opposed to the Lions.
Any word on Lance Whitnell down there, Aussie?
No, he seems 100% fit. Obviously, coach wasn't too happy with the way he was moving, so they've put Silvani back on the ground in place of Lance Whitnell.
Bit of manipulation on the back, I think, for young Lance.
Yep.
Picken decides to take on Mansfield, who tried to run him down. Did well in the end, Picken. Handball to Headland. Short pass. Missed the target, and Johnson, who tries to butter up. McKay to Ratton. All sorts of theatrics going on in the box behind me. Ashcroft handball over the top to Scott. That was Chris Scott. Michael Voss's handball to Ackermanis. They trust each other, don't they? Handball came back towards Voss, who tried to bring the ball to his advantage. Massey ripped off the football, played for the free. Play on to the umpire. Lappin squeezes a kick towards full forward.
Geez, it's so obvious out here, boys. Everything the Brisbane Lions are doing, they're trying to force.
Yep.
Everything that Carlton are doing, they're just doing it with ease.
Just turned the ball over, haven't they, at the moment, the Brisbane Lions. He's a crowd favourite, this bloke, Cooter, from that grandstand there.
Right in front of the Carlton faithful in the Richard Pratt stand and the Robert Heatley stand. And he'll raise the roof if he kicks this. In the heart of Carlton territory, Cooter's kicked the goal!
Well, they're just starting to blow the game right open here, the Carlton side. We've touched on it a few times this quarter where they really are starting to win the game as out of their midfield. Camberelli's running down the ground fairly easily. We see Bratton starting to get a bit of the football. It appears now that Trent Houghton has gone into the ruck here for the Carlton side. Good hard work there from Voss. Massey as he comes through here. The kick from Lappin. Found Cooter Feeties. Too good.
Cooter's first, 6 for the quarter for Carlton. Voss is on Cooter now.
And he's playing a fair game, Cooter, with 16 possessions.
Yeah.
There's the bounce. So Voss has gone to full back on Cooter. There you go. The mark has been taken by Chris Scott. Kick towards centre wing. Robbing Peter to pay Paul at the moment, the Lions with that one. Pike. Handball over the top. Chance again for Picken. Lappin did well. The Blues are really having a good afternoon at the moment. They've started to warm up and hit their straps. Cooter said, "Get out of my way, Michael Voss." Takes the mark. Charges towards goal. Kicks it. What about that from Cooter Feeties?
Well, if you had any question mark over who was best man on the ground in the first half, it's been reaffirmed in the last few minutes. Anthony Cooter Feeties is dominating. 17 possessions, 2 goals. And I don't think it's the sort of matchup you'd like to see remain from a Brisbane Lions point of view. Giving away too much height down back, Michael Voss. He can only do so much. He's a brilliant player, but, gee, when Cooter's in that sort of form, it is pretty tough to stop him. And the way he played on and slotted it through.
It looks like now, boys, that Kennedy has gone across to pick up Cooter.
No
Michael Voss
surprise.
tried to body him, didn't he? Just tried to body him on that occasion.
9 kicks, 8 marks, 5 handballs. 9 kicks, 8 handballs, 5 marks and 2 goals to Cooter. They've got it right as Hume goes towards half forward. Lappin, who's really lifted this second quarter after a quiet first term. He's racked up 12 possessions of his own. Kicks towards full forward. A chance again for Ratton. Snapshot towards goal. And Brisbane just desperate just to try and see that to half time without hemorrhaging any more. Picken towards Black. Handball over the top to Lappin, who's been pretty quiet really with just 6 possessions since Bradley took him out of the game towards full forward. Interestingly, Bradley yet to kick the football. Kick towards half forward. Big fly from Notting, couldn't take the mark. Scott, Johnson it was, dealt with harshly. McKay was there also. Somehow the ball stayed in. Here's a chance for Robbins. Handball inside towards Headland, who leaves it for Ackermanis, who's written into the ground every time he gets the football. Kicks inside 50, and the ball dribbles over for a throw-in.
There's nothing clean about their possessions at the moment, the Brisbane Lions. They're missing targets. It's scrappy. They're under pressure. They're not handling the ball cleanly. And it's just chalk and cheese.
Battle,
compared the two
Jason,
sides
yeah.
at the moment.
I'm glad me and you, Jason, tipped Carlton before the game.
Oh, you were on the line.
He jumped off.
Whatever what.
Of course, Doug Hawkins was pretty unlucky not to make the Fitzroy team of the century that was paraded before the game. one terrific year in the back pocket.
Look at the numbers here.
At the age of 38, a kick towards centre wing, marked by Houlihan as the siren sounds to end a dominant quarter for the Blues. Really was dominant that quarter of the Carlton Football Club. It kicked 7 goals, 4 in fact, to go to 10-8-68. And the Lions, who kicked the first 2 goals of the game, kicked just 1 more that quarter. The Blues lead by 43 points, and it would be hard to see Brisbane getting back in the game from 43 points. It would be hard to see them getting back in the game from here.
Yeah, I guess it's back to the drawing board for the Lions match committee. They'll certainly make some changes. They need to change the approach, basically in total at the moment, because Carlton are dominating all over the ground, particularly in that quarter. 10-8-68 the Blues, comfortably leading the Brisbane Lions 3-7-25.
Scott Freeborn turning 23 years of age tomorrow.
Welcome back to Optus Oval. Plenty of clouds up in the sky, and it's pretty dismal for the Brisbane Lions at half-time, trailing by 43 points. The Blues doing it in style, 10-8-68, leading the Lions 3-7-25. I wonder if he had a chance to sneak into the rooms during the half-time break. Aussie down on the boundary.
Yeah, thanks, Chase. One thing I was really surprised with looking at those half-time stats was the turnovers. I would have thought that Brisbane would have had twice as many. If I was a coach, I'd be just saying to them, look, just settle down, start from scratch and hit targets, because what they're doing is they're missing their targets and they're just putting too much pressure on each other. So that would be the key message at half-time, boys.
Thank you, Aussie. And already there's some different personnel in the middle for the Brisbane Lions. Chris Scott's gone in there, and Ben Robbins has gone in there, and he looks like he's going to try and tag Anthony Koutafidis, and he's giving away about a foot in height.
Good luck, Ben Robbins.
All right, so we're back in the middle here with a bounce. And moving forward here on this occasion was Francina. The ball will be clear to be taken by Ashcroft. Robbins it is, handballs over the top. Here we go through Ashcroft, kick towards half forward. Chance on this occasion for Beaumont to handball back to Ratton. Handball over the top to McKay, who kicks towards centre wing. Whitnell in front, couldn't take the mark, punched away.
Oh, good mark there by Pike.
The mark.
Yeah, good mark by Pike on that occasion. He had a tough job in the first half. He had to pick up Lance Whitnell, as we've seen, has kicked 3 goals and spent a bit of time on the bench in that second quarter.
Towards half forward, a chance again for the Brisbane Lions. Kick inside, big mark, and then occasion by Porter, who went up and took the mark and did a terrific job.
I think he's played on here, Hutch, and well, it's been 50 metres, and I think the umpire was right on the mark there, and the umpire on that occasion was umpire Justin Schmidt, so good umpire on that occasion here to give Mark Porter that 50-metre penalty. Brisbane Lions, they've got to get the first couple of goals really to get themselves right back in this game, but they're 7 goals down. They really have to lift at this moment.
Porter lays it off to Campanelli, goes towards half forward. Silvani takes the mark, kicks inside 50. Beautiful mark to Matthew Lappin, and Lappin's taken the mark just inside 50.
Yeah, well, he's been a danger player down there forward line. Was fairly quiet. He's only had the he's had the 13 touches and 4 marks, and he has kicked a goal. So he certainly did lift his work rate, particularly in that second quarter. He did start the game very slowly in the forward line in that first term. Long way out. Has a shot here.
He kicked 1 goal in the second term. Kick on goal, punched away at the back, minus score the result. So a minus score there to Matthew Lappin.
They need a couple of goals, Jason, don't they, the Brisbane Lions? I mean, they've got to get themselves right back in the game. Their midfield, they made some changes down there, but their forward line have got to start taking a few marks down there as well.
Oh, they've really got to give themselves some heart early in this third quarter. They've travelled 9 out of the last 13 weeks, and this is where it sets in when things aren't going well. Yep. It's very easy to just say, gee, we've had it tough, we're not going to win today.
10 of the last 11 goals they've kicked Carlton. Michael lays it off to Pike, short pass towards centre half back, over the back, Ratton's taken the mark.
They're just missing targets everywhere.
Here's Koutafidis. Thought about taking on Shattuck, but in the end, steadies up, goes short again. Beautiful kick to Silvani. And they average 21.9 possessions per goal, Carlton. That'll give you an idea of how much they chip the ball around before they bring the ball inside 50.
Well, they'll be doing well if he can spot up a target now, because it is packed in the forward line.
Kicks to a contest. Porter with a big fly. Couldn't take it. McKay to Lappin. Just missed the target. Brad Scott was there also. Hasn't had one of his better days, Brad Scott. And Lappin will take the free kick. Gave a little spray there to Lappin, has kicked inside 50. The mark was taken by McKay. What was he saying there, Doug?
Well, I think he gave a little bit of cook there, no doubt about that Hutchie, but I've just got a bit of a feeling the way Carlton has started this third term. I know they haven't kicked a goal yet, but gee whiz, they could really blow this game apart here, the Blue Bag.
Looks like they've picked up where they left off, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, they have, Jason.
McKay kicks to the top of the goal square. White at the back. Silvani there also. Koutafidis. Oh, Hickmott has squeezed the kick out and kicked the goal.
Well, that is the last thing that the Brisbane Lions needed. It's just becoming increasingly more difficult to see how they're going to turn things around, or at least even get back into the game. And they had plenty of numbers in the square, the Blues. And as we see the ball come in, Silvani couldn't hold it. Hickmott was there. Koutafidis was there as well. He probably could have done it if Hickmott didn't get his boot to the ball. And he's copping a bit behind the play now, Hickmott, but he's certainly having the last laugh after kicking the goal.
Well, they're having a day out, the Blues midfielders. Hickmott with 15 possessions, Ratton 15, McKay 14, Lappin 15, Camporelli 17, Hume 14, Beaumont 17 and Koutafidis 18. What about that? As Bradley handballs towards centre wing, Johnson. Now Ackermanis puts the foot to the gas and kicks inside 50 to the advantage of Big Lynch. Couldn't take it. This is the pocket where he kicked that magnificent goal in the first term. Since then, the ball hasn't been down much at all. Over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Looks like Darryl White now has gone to full back. He's only had the 4 touches so far in this game. His job now is to stop Brendan Bavola, who came on the ground, was a very good forward for the Carlton side.
Just see the interchange players there for the Brisbane Lions boys. Notting, Keating, Kennedy and Noble.
Okay, so I wonder if the Lions are ruined going in tall rather than short, Jason. Getting thrashed in the midfield.
Well, they certainly haven't taken the marks that they would have hoped with the tools.
Camporelli squares the ball up beautifully to Lappin. Get the feeling the Blues are back in town today. They're 4-3 to round 7, and all of a sudden they've hit top gear today. Silvani, now Beaumont, he likes a goal, runs to 50. It could bounce through, it may not bounce through. Punched away by White behind a score.
Well, the game's only been going on for 5 or 6 minutes early on in this third quarter. As we take a look at the Blues interchange, no great problems there. That'll be very keen to get on. But they just don't look likely at the moment, the Brisbane Lions. Michael Voss is playing at half forward. He's being attended to by Andrew McKay. And they're just unable to hit their targets when they do win possession at the moment, the Lions.
And Whitnell's still off. They might get you to chase that one up, Aussie, because obviously that is an injury concern.
Yeah, there is, Hutchie. I made the comment earlier that he looked fine because he was jogging on the boundary line, but he did get some work done on his lower back, and the call from the club is that he has got a locked joint in his lower back, so he's got some problems there.
A locked joint. Okay. It's usually what Hawks' mates are trying to get inside out in the western suburbs. Koutafidis couldn't try and get the ball away.
Good tackle from Simon Black.
Yeah, it was a good tackle. Good work, Hutch.
Free kick will be taken by Black. My apologies to your friends out there, Hawk. Kick towards centre, just
good mark.
Brown's taking a good mark. It's a good sign. Need more of that from him.
Got to mark him inside 52, Hutch. I think a bit too far up the ground, young Jonathan Brown.
Kick short to Headland. No, Johnson it is. Goes inside
good
again.
Kick.
Beautiful spearing pass. And mark's taken by Shattuck. Handball to Voss. Wasn't real good, it's fair to say. Kick towards full forward. Lynch attacked the football. He's looked dangerous every time he's gone near it. Decides to do a U-turn. Handball to Voss. Squeezes a handball out cleverly. And a good kick on goal. I think it was Black. Right. It was indeed. A good goal to young Black.
In the end, they did it the hard way, the Brisbane Lions. It seemed a strange hand pass to give to Michael Voss. He was standing still and he didn't have room to play on. And all he could do was kick it off one step forward. Alistair Lynch did well. He evaded a few offenders. He couldn't find anything better. Eventually, he found Michael Voss. The quick hand pass to Simon Black, and on the non-preferred right foot, slotted it through for absolutely no response from the crowd here at Optus Oval.
A black goal and a black day for the Lions so far. They trail by 45 points and really up against it. McDonald won the hit out. There's Bradley. Ironically, he's still yet to get a kick, I think, Bradley. We'll just have a look at it at the moment. Charging through is Koutafidis. He had loads on it. Kick towards goal. Just dropped and make or did it. It's bounced over the top. It's gone in. I thought he had a touch to it, Darryl White. My apologies. Couta's kicked 3.
I tell you what, I'd love to see the bounce on that ball from a different angle. You could see a wry smile there from Darryl White. Look at the clean hands. It went through Bradley, Ratton and Koutafidis, 3 of the Premier on ballers. Now, White looks like he's going to get to it. Have a look at the bounce. Oh, it's just up and over. He's trying to smother it. There's not a lot you could do about that. When things go against you, they just continue to do so.
Just where they're dominating at the moment, Hutchie and Jason's in that centre bounce. They flogged Brisbane in the second quarter. You got Koutafidis, Camporale, and I think it's Brett Ratton as well, and Porter's on top in the ruck at the moment.
He certainly is, Porter. They haven't missed a beat since Matthew Allen's gone out. That's not being disrespectful to Matthew Allen. It's just paying tribute to the performance of Porter as Johnson gets the handball over the back to Chris Scott. Kick towards centre-half forward. Voss one-on-one with McKay. What a contest that is. McKay paddles it out. Hume tries to squeeze a handball. Massey goes again. Steadies up now. Handball to Beaumont, who's just so cool across half-back. His kick to Ratton, who's really come into his own. Running into the game very well is Brett Ratton. The kick didn't quite hit his target. I need more out of that man, Lappin. Kicks towards Lynch. Brown will do the roving. It'll sit for Brown now. And the advantage will be paid as Brown will kick a goal.
Gonna let it go.
First goal to Jonathan Brown.
I honestly thought Alice Lynch has been stiff not to have received a couple of free kicks earlier on in the game. That one perhaps didn't look as bad as a couple of the others, but it's just good reward. You could just see the left hand of Manton has a handful of jumper. That's a very good decision from the umpire. Yep. An absolute handful of jumper that pulled him off the contest, and a deserved free kick. The advantage is paid, and Jonathan Brown scores a much-needed goal for the Lions.
That's the worst rule that was ever brought in for full forwards, the advantage rule, Jace. Nothing worse.
Definitely.
Nothing worse than your mate running off and kicking the goal for you after you've got yourself in front.
Good mark.
See, did that travel 10 metres?
Probably not.
Here's Cooter again. 21 possessions for him. Heckmott in the box seat. Couldn't take it. Over the back. Chance again for the Lions to clear. Oh, he lost his feet, Johnson. Having a dark day. Came towards Lappin. Got out of trouble again with a handball. Cut off beautifully by Silvani to Franchina. To Camporale. Kick inside 50. Will it bounce? No, it didn't. And White was there also. Squares up to Johnson, who can clear now for the Brisbane Lions. Good-looking kick towards Robbins and finds him. Handball over the top to Chris Scott on centre wing. Has a bounce. Kick towards half forward. Bo McDonald to Headland, who kicks inside 50, and a good mark to Lynch, who just keeps attacking the football.
Well, in the end, the old up and under, the Gary Allen, it worked out perfectly because it was to space, and Alice Lynch had front position against Glenn Mann, and it was purely a foot race. They both sprinted 25 metres. Lynch got there first and took a pretty simple chest mark.
Free ball coming off.
Yep,
yeah, good on that's it, Hawk, and on full hand.
She's an important kick for Alistair Lynch, isn't it?
Well, 7 down, Jace. We'll really need this one.
He's kicked 2-1, both in the first quarter of the day. And they need this goal. Lynch loads it up and has kicked the goal, I reckon. No, he hasn't.
And Hawk, I've done a bit of research down here for you, mate. That locked joint is actually the facet joint.
Yep.
I was going to say the facet, Oz, so I just wasn't quite sure that one.
Just take us through how many pounds exactly they pumped the football up to, Ozzy, while you're there.
From 14 down to 12 it went, Hutchie.
Oh, he's good, Ozzy.
Fantastic. Should be hosting the Curiosity Show. Ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds.
I could almost tell you the brand of the valve and the pump they were using to pump it up to.
Don't go too hard, Oz.
I think someone's pumped you up today, Oz. Throw in. Doing a good job down there on boundary line. Pulled up. Got the handball out to Hume. And a throw's been called, so the free kick will come back to the Brisbane Lions just when Bradley was on the break.
Good stiff Hume, I thought.
And I can see Craig Bradley unhappy with the decision. Headland plays on. The kick into the hole was always going to favour the Blues.
He's been very good.
Yeah.
Plays deceptively tall, doesn't he? I mean, he's a tall player, but he plays much taller than himself. He's had 20 possessions. Great effort across half-back, particularly for a key post.
Been terrific. 6 marks too, Hutch.
Koutafidis has got another opponent. It's Chris Scott now.
Won't matter. Cooter goes beautifully. Palms it to Lappin. Left foot kick inside 50. Here's Favola on the half volley. Tries to suck the umpire in and did. Sucked him in.
I'd love to see the replay of that, boys.
I think you're right, Ozzy. It's going to be very touch and go. If he got there, it's a magnificent left foot pass from Matthew Lappin, sorry. He has drilled it in, but Anthony Koutafidis, again with another opponent, Chris Scott, who's been one of the good contributors for the Brisbane Lions. Couldn't mark it. Koutafidis just tapped it down, and I wonder if he just got the hands underneath it. Tough to tell from that angle.
Might have been the Michael Slater or the Greg Dyer. Catch that one.
Well, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
But he has been very good, Brendan Favola, since coming on.
Yeah, he has.
And he really does give it a roost. We all want to back him here, Favola. Lines him up and kicks a goal.
Well, he has got himself going, Brendan Favola. He's been very, very good since coming on in the second quarter. 4 marks, 5 kicks, a couple of goals already. And here's a good camera angle to be having a look at that. Look at the hands. Do they get underneath the ball? It's touch and go. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
The benefit of the doubt should always go to the forward.
Well, what do you really think, though, Jason?
Sorry?
Did he mark it?
Hands under the ball.
He marked it.
All right, so Jason Dunstall reckons he marked it. Going easy on the forwards.
Umpire's in good position to
Of course
play.
he was.
Even the replay couldn't tell if he marked it. How could the umpire tell? Robbins, kick towards half forward.
Oh, well
Passed away
done.
by McKay. Beautifully done by Brown. Read that beautifully. Finish it off with a goal. Hits the post. Story of the day for the Brisbane Lions.
Well, he is capable of big things, Jonathan Brown. For a young fellow, he has come on in leaps and bounds. And that was a great piece of play. Roved it beautifully, and on a good day it goes in. On a bad day it hits the post.
And let me tell you, Jace, he's not a small man.
He's a huge Aussie, isn't
That's
he?
incredible the way he can move.
Koutafidis went wolf to Bradley, who's enjoying being moved onto the football, running into some form again. Kick towards half forward. Hotton with a big fly, and over the back was Lappin, and he took a ripper. Voss, whose kick was off the side of the boot, puts the defence under all sorts of pressure here. Scott, that's Brad Scott.
Well done.
Handball backwards again. This is rugby stuff at the moment to White. Kicks to Pike.
They've gone across the ground,
And they've-
45 metres and gone nowhere, Hutch.
Well, they've actually
Just
gone
come back.
backwards 15
They
metres.
have, Jason, no doubt about that. Brisbane Lions then. And had 6 possessions in.
This is where the Blues are shutting them down.
Pike to centre wing. Chance for Robbins. Couldn't take the mark. Got the handball away. Christou. He's been pretty good today too. Hans Christou. Good to see him back for the Blues. Lappin. He's done as he's pleased this afternoon.
Kick.
Beautiful kick.
Oh.
They're fighting against each other, Hotton and Koutafidis. And the Blues supporters are bagging Hotton as much as anyone.
Now, well, I've got to tell you, I think Trent Hotton was in the front position.
He was.
Yep.
I think if that's the case when there's 2 people going for it. The man in front has the right of way. And even though he's drifting in from the side, he was still ahead of Anthony Koutafidis, who probably should have protected his back.
Here we are.
You just see Hotton was always going to mark it.
Lack of talk, Jason.
Lack of talk, you're right.
Yep.
Throw in. Porter and McDonald. It's been a pretty engaging battle, that one. Francina to Porter.
Favola loose here down the goal square, boys.
Ratton got the handball away. Bradley went without it. Scott in there. Squeezes the handball out towards Lappin, who runs inside out. Kicks towards full forward. Big sit from Lynch at the back with 2 to beat. No crummers today. They're really missing McRae and Power, aren't they? At the fall of the football, because they have had no one there doing the crumbing as Ackermanis comes off. Here's Bradley on centre wing. Charges away with one mouth to skip up. 340 game player and inspiration towards half forward.
Great kick.
And Hotton had no one in his way on that time. He's taken the mark. He'll go for Cooter in the square. He's one out with White. Beaumont trying to block the hole. Might bounce yet for Cooter. What's it for the big fella? He works his way to the front. He takes it. Gets the handball out to McKay. Handball back again. Here we go. A goal to Brett Ratton.
Well, it went through the right sets of hands, didn't it? Koutafidis and McKay and Ratton, experienced heads. There didn't look to be much of an opportunity. The ball's at ground level, deep in the pocket. Have a look at Koutafidis. He just works his way to the front. Even when he's tackled, he shoots the hand pass out. McKay didn't hesitate. Straight back to Ratton, and he has great foot skills. Off one step on the left boot, threads it through.
Jason Ackermanis gets a bit of massaging as Brett Ratton celebrates his 20th possession and first goal. The lead's as big as it has been in the game so far, 55 points. McDonald won the hit out. Porter did pretty well. Tried to squeeze one out. Voss has worked tirelessly all day and has had 15 possessions for his trouble. We'll have a bounce as Doring comes on and the pup, Hume, goes off.
What was that stat again, Jace, before the game? The Brisbane Lions only won here twice.
Twice in 13 attempts, once back in 89 and once in 99.
Jeez.
Okay, as Johnson did pretty well. Short pass was good to Brown, who has lifted in the second half.
He's definitely started to come into the game a little bit, hasn't he? But unfortunately, he's just doesn't have enough teammates. Beaumont's done very well. Beaumont's done an exceptional job. I've seen Jonathan Brown dominate a couple of times this year. For a young bloke, he plies his craft particularly well for a fellow of his experience.
And Beaumont's probably been enjoying the spoils a little bit in the third quarter.
Chris Johnson's been okay too in this third term. In a very quiet first half. Only had the 3 touches. He's gone to a half-back flank. He's been a lot better, Chris Johnson.
He has really lifted, hasn't he, and given them a little bit of run. This is the Michael Holding run-up from Jonathan Brown.
He's a beautiful kick of the football, though.
What about the run-up? It's a monster run-up from Jonathan Brown, bowling right arm over the wicket from 50. Loads it up. And the kick goes off to the left, minor score.
I'll tell you where Carlton have beaten the Lions today. They've both tried to flood and get back behind the ball. It's one thing to flood and get behind the ball, but once you win it, you've got to get the numbers ahead of the ball. That's what Carlton have done. They've worked harder than the Brisbane Lions players.
Kick into Massey, who shortens the pass to McKay. So many Blues have had big days today. Mansfield will take this in the front. Got a good pair of hands and takes the mark. Peels around onto his left foot. Kicks towards half forward. All Brisbane. Mel Michael took the mark and charged away.
Have a bounce.
He ran the gauntlet, handballed off to Voss, who squeezes the kick towards half forward. Brown was being held.
Has to be a free kick.
By Beaumont. Play on, said the umpire. Here's a goal coming up for Robbins. Steadies up and really should have done better there. Kick wasn't...
Should have been a free kick to Brown, I thought. You're right, Jace. It was a fair call, that. He was manhandled, wasn't he?
Yep.
Gee whiz.
Kick came to Hickmott, who just had magnificent vision to shorten the pass to Houlihan. Now Christou, get ready for the big scream. Ooh. There it goes. Wolf goes around the ground. Big fly at the back from Mansfield. Took it pretty well, rode the pack. Handball out again towards Hickmott. Durring it is. Sorry, my apology. Here's Freeborn. Handball back. Missed its target. Kuda ripped the player off the football. Durring went in again. Shattuck got the kick away. Well, the kick was Shattuck in the end because it went towards the boundary line. And Michael can take the ball over the boundary line for a throw-in. Replay of what you're talking about here, Jason.
Well, that's a bear hug for mine. I don't know if you can see it.
It was a bit more earlier too, Jason. I reckon a little bit more early on that one, I thought.
I mean, which is something you have to do when you're playing on an opponent much bigger than yourself. So you can't blame Simon Beaumont, but that's where the umpires have to take a closer look.
Overcast afternoon in Melbourne. The Blues are lapping it up. Here's Houlihan. Took the player on. Handball to Bradley. Nottingham was, who ends up with the football again now. He too decides to run the gauntlet. Kick towards half forward. Good football. It ends up with Voss from 40 out. Decides to go for the pass, or perhaps he could have kicked the goal. It'll sit for Lynch. He runs inside out, turns 2 opponents around, and nails it through. Alistair Lynch has kicked his third.
Well, from limited opportunities, he hasn't done a bad job, Alistair Lynch. He kicked the first couple for the Brisbane Lions. They haven't been able to get much ball down to him, and he's showing a lot of agility today. He's really moving particularly well. And you could just see it was an interesting choice from Michael Voss to go to a 2-on-1 when I thought he might have had a shot for goal. And he got a pretty kind bounce, Alistair Lynch. The ball sat up for him, and then he was good enough to evade a couple of opponents and slot it over the shoulder.
Three goals to Alistair Lynch. Classic old-fashioned full-forward stuff, that, Jason, which we don't really see anymore in the modern game. Full forwards beating 2 opponents, holding their feet, turning someone inside out. Real splash of Dunstall and Lockett about that one, and Ablett. Camporelli, handball to Beaumont. Back to Camporelli, squares it up to Freeborn, who's back on the ground. Spearing kick.
Good mark.
Cut off by, looked like Shattuck.
Shattuck.
Who just
Look at this kid. He's
threw the
been
dive
okay.
in to make it look a bit better.
He's been okay. He gave one bad blue willy, which resulted in the goal to Savani in that second quarter, but he's been okay, Shattuck.
Yeah, 10 possessions.
Yep, 4 marks.
Picking. It's at 8 marks. Kicks towards centre wing. Ratton just read it so well.
Their foot skills have been deplorable today, the Brisbane Lions.
Haven't they?
Just missed target after target.
Another change for the Brisbane Lions, boys. Bo McDonald off, Kennedy on.
Ratton towards half forward. Kuda Ferdy's in the front position. Punched away on that occasion by White, who's very Kuda conscious, as you can see. Ends up with Kuda. Now McKay. Handball again towards Durring, who runs at goal. The young man has kicked the goal. Good start from John Durring.
That's very impressive, Jordan During. I mean, he received the hand pass and he was pretty much flat-footed. He accelerated very well. He had Nigel Lappin hot on his hammer. You can just see McKay trying to get the ball out, but in the end it comes from Koutafidis back to him. And then he goes, the lunging tackle from Nigel Lappin. He still manages to slot it on the left boot. Shows a bit of class, doesn't he?
No doubt about that, Jace. I just wonder if he's a natural left-footer then, because
well, it's hard to tell.
He's only a young fella. Yeah, I haven't seen much of him, but if he's a right-footer, that was brilliant play by the young fella During then.
Handball came out again.
I think he's a left-footer, Dougie.
No, he's a good left-footer, yes.
His kick had too much on it. And the mark was taken by Ashcroft. Kick towards centre wing. Beautiful pass to Notting.
Oh, he's off.
Handball over the top again towards Robbins. We can handball again towards Kennedy.
He can have a shot, Kennedy.
Kennedy can load it up from 50. He's a big kick. Kicks towards full forward. Lynch at the back. Read it okay. Beautifully rode for that occasion by Black front and square. And he kicked the goal for the Brisbane Lions. That's his second. Just getting back to Jordan During, Hawk.
Yeah, where's he from?
You were saying he started on the rookie list in year 2000.
Yeah, he did start on that. That's correct. And normally plays on a half-forward flank hunch. Is that correct as well?
Yep. Moving the ball forward here. We see the replay.
Yeah, it was just he chose the right option in the end, Ben Robbins, because there was nothing really ahead of him. I thought Matthew Kennedy might have had a bounce and had a shot, but that's just good roving. Simon Black getting in the right position and taking it cleanly off the pack.
Of course, Jordan During, Hawk, was an emergency in their two finals last year. Played the Essendon Reserves Premiership from memory in '99. I think he finished second in the best and fairest there before being delisted and picked up in the rookie draft.
Good work, Hutch.
Bounce. Kennedy, a little bit of cheating going on in the box. Beaumont.
Oh,
Was gang tackled by the Brisbane Lions like a pinball machine.
Hutch, look at Michael Voss. I think Jason mentioned earlier. He's gone into a half-forward flank. There's a replay of this one. Yeah, not a real lot in that one. Voss now gone to a half-forward flank. McKay has got him.
Houghton did beautifully with a ruck work to Koutafidis with a look-away handball. Came through to Black, who's tried hard all day, it's fair to say. Camporelli, handball away to Hickmott. Full of confidence. During getting into the action. Bradley's on the end of it. Kicks towards full forward at the back. A big chance for Pavola. Go with the chook foot.
Well, you spoke about Craig Bradley earlier on in the day. He had a number of hand passes but no kicks. And that's why you like to see Craig Bradley kicking the football, because he has such exceptional skills. That won't count. He's got to come back and come behind the mark.
The kick was spot on, Jason. At the end of the day, young Shattuck was just caught watching the player instead of trying to watch the ball. We just saw that replay then.
Such an exciting player, this young man, Favola, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Just one of those, there's not many of them left, Hutchie, the way they're brought up these days to be so flexible, but he plays like a traditional full forward. He's very strong on the lead. He has pretty good hands, and he's a beautiful kick of the football. I mean, we've seen him at times be very inaccurate, but with that sort of range, if he just refines his set shot routine, there's no reason why he can't kick a number of goals.
Wearing the number made famous by Alex Jezelenko. Favola could yet be another one in the making. Champion, that is. As he kicks the goal. That's his third just coming onto the ground.
Well, he's making the most of every opportunity, Brendan Favola. Started the game on the bench, came on in the second quarter, immediately had an impact, and he's continuing to do so. Adrian Hickmott's been a very good player.
Terrific.
During starting to come into it, and Craig Bradley. Well, when he does use the boot, it's to devastating effect, isn't it? Spot on for Brendan Favola.
So another goal to the Blues. And interesting that Porter still seems to be off the ground, so I'm not sure if there's a problem there. Houghton's doing a terrific job, though. Here's Houlihan. Kick towards full forward. Cut off on this occasion by Mr. Elastic Man, Darryl White.
Just watching Ratton was his opponent. Ratton led to the wing there, and the kick didn't go to him.
White to centre wing to Brown, who takes the mark. He's been forced to work very far down the field for his possessions, as Jason and Doug mentioned a moment ago. Kick towards Clark Keating, who has had just the two possessions, takes the mark.
His first mark, I think, too.
60 out. The Blues flood back.
Poor old Alice Lynch has got three blokes on him.
Yeah.
They managed to find a target in Johnson, who's had a good quarter.
I mean, if you're sitting at home watching and you're wondering why the Brisbane Lions are taking so long to kick the footy, it's because Carlton are getting the numbers back and just making it virtually impossible to pinpoint a pass to their key players.
And there's a good view on the screen that they're not actually manning up. What they're doing is
good kick.
Like the basketball zone defence, isn't it?
Yep. And what you do have to do when that happens is you need your most skillful players with the ball, because those that don't quite have the precision by hand or foot will cause turnovers, and then you get punished going the other way. But the good players, given time, can pick a zone apart.
Yep. As Chris Johnson did then. Good kick by him.
This is Chris Scott. Terrific view from the cameras here. This shot on goal just fades away to the left, I reckon. Minor score the result.
And boys, I think we saw it against in the game, the Anzac Day game, Essendon versus Collingwood, how to beat the flood. I don't know if you remember that game, but early days, Carlton Lockyer just kicking the ball across the 50-metre arc sideways just to open up the ground, and Chad Rintill had a shot and almost kicked the goal.
Yeah.
Camberelli to Christou. He dropped the mark. Keating wanted to box on rather than take the footy in the end, didn't he? Now Robbins. I've really fallen down with their small forwards today, Brisbane. It's not through their own fault, obviously losing 2 before the game.
Well, Luke Power and Craig McRae are a couple of handy players. Unfortunately for the Brisbane Lions, they're missing, and you can just see didn't quite focus on the ball once it had gone to the ground, did they?
Slaps, eh?
The big man, Clark Keating, up against Houghton. Keating won the hit out. Beaumont got rid of his opponent. High up and under kick. Freeborn with courage. Did pretty well, Scotty Freeborn. Did very well. To Camberelli. Kick towards centre wing to Vavola, who's on target again. And he takes the mark. Silvani will have to be the target because there's no one else forward really of the football. Tax it, Silvani couldn't quite take it. Ratton did pretty well with the handball over the top. Cut off by Ashcroft. Handball back to Lappin. Kick towards centre wing. It's 3/4 time. Bears down. Just 50 seconds left. And in the end, the mark's been paid, I think, for Simon Black.
He's had a good quarter, Simon Black.
Been good.
Kicks inside, 50. Towards Johnson, punched away by Massey. And Johnson frustrated there.
Well, he's had 19 for the game, Jason, so far. Simon Black with 9 tackles for this quarter. Yeah, he's been terrific, hasn't he, in that ruck roving role. Yeah, he's had the 4 kicks and 2 tackles and kicked 2 goals. Very important goals for the Brisbane Lions in this quarter.
Houghton, Black again. Voss.
Oh, free kick.
Proceeds too high.
I think that's one of those where he might have just got caught around the collar. And when you drag the collar up, obviously it looks very high. Andrew McKay wearing him like a glove. Oh, and he's got the arm over the shoulder. Gives him a bit of a sling.
And umpire Gavin Dorr in good position there.
But he's going to get possessions, make him earn them.
3/4 time upon us. Voss needs to kick this goal. It drifts back left to right. Michael Voss has kicked his second.
There's been nothing wrong with Michael Voss's game today. He's found it difficult in the midfield, but 18 possessions and a couple of goals is a pretty good return over the first 3 quarters. It's just been difficult in general for the Brisbane Lions. They've been dominating the midfield. The further the game goes on, the more they're getting beaten in the midfield. But he does have that class to finish, doesn't he? Kicked a beautiful left-foot goal, roving it off the pack earlier on. That time a set shot from 40-odd metres. And a bit of a private joke, I think, between opponents.
Yep,
Michael Voss and Andrew McKay.
Well, you just said then, Jason, the midfield, they've been flogged, the Brisbane Lions. This quarter so far, Koutafidis, Bradley and Ratton all had 8 possessions in this quarter.
And there's another one. I mean, Camberelli continues to knock up getting possessions. Well, the siren goes for 3/4 time, and it's a very sorry tale if you look at the scoreboard. A margin of 47 points. Well, they didn't lose much ground that quarter. Outscored by 4 points, but unfortunately with the margin that big, there is not much to be gained, and their dismal record at Optus Oval looks like continuing. A pretty sombre Lee Matthews. He looks as he makes his way over to the huddle. Not much going right for them, but on the other side of the coin, everything going beautifully for the Blues. At 3/4 time, it's Carlton, 16 goals, 10, 106, leading Brisbane, 8-11, 59. As we prepare for the first bounce of the final quarter here at Optus.
Here we go. Stick around for that replay. Ratton, handball out towards Kennedy of the Brisbane Lions, who's in there. And we'll have a bounce. Well, a sting gone into the game here at Optus.
No rule
it
changes.
has, Doug. This is where Lee Matthews just says we have to find out a few things in this last quarter. We can't win the game, but there are a few things we can do.
A bit of passion, a bit of spirit now.
In basketball parlance, it's junk time at the moment. Ashcroft. Camporelli was wrapped up. Another ball up.
I'll tell you what, it certainly is a lot darker than it looks to be on your screen.
Yeah,
it's
no
clouded
doubt.
right over, and visibility is only fair here at Optus Oval.
Just hope it's still light at the end of the game when you and I try and get our cars out of the car park, Jason. Considering we parked halfway up a tree. That'll be tough work. Ball at the back for Lappin. Handball over the top. Camporelli did well. Kick towards the boundary line. And it'll eventually dribble over for another throw-in.
Had 25 touches, Scott Camporelli there. Make that 26 touches and 3 marks. Had plenty of the football.
20 plus 6 doesn't equal 25, Hawk.
No, I just said 26. He just got that one there. Good work and Billy, Hutch.
Working well, mate. It might be out on the full in the end. Off the boot of Simon Black, it is. And the free kick will be taken by Craig Bradley, who's played a real responsible team game today, hasn't he? Played the sacrificial lamb to draw Lappin out in the first half. Got plenty of the feet in the second half, as has Hickmott.
He's played a game, this fellow.
Been terrific.
Been very good, Hickmott. Short pass towards centre half forward. Massey couldn't take it. Ball came out the back towards Hume. Little handball didn't hit his target. Going in hard again there, the Carlton offence. And eventually we'll have a ball up. A helicopter just flying.
Yep, over the top here.
Over the top. You can hear that through your screens. And
there she goes, over the top there.
just about to land on the nearby oval, I think. There we go. It's an ambulance. Let's hope everything's okay. Ball up. Kuda did well, rode the tackle, handball. Went only as far as White, whose kick towards half-back was marked by Shattuck. Shattuck it was, kick towards centre-half-back. Mark taken by Chris Scott, who's also had plenty of the football. Kick towards centre wing to Johnson, who, as Doug said, improved
Been better.
immeasurably in the third quarter. Teammate of Hawks in Fitzroy in that infamous year. Kick towards full forward. And the mark's been taken by Clark Keating. It looks like he's ready to go 6 rounds with someone tonight.
He's been in an aggressive mood. Look, when they originally started the game, Clark Keating was up forward and they were hoping to make something out of the lack of height in the Carlton defence. And he just wasn't able to get enough ball down there, basically. Nothing that he could get his hands upon. And unfortunately, it's all too little too late. But they need Clark Keating just to get a bit of touchback for the coming weeks.
They really should kick the goal. Clark Keating directly in front. Don't tell me he's missed it. The kicking for goal today has been nothing short of dismal.
And Hutchie, I've got to tell you, there's nothing wrong with pushing blokes around, but when you go back, you've got to kick those goals or it makes you look really stupid.
Yeah,
you're
right, Aussie, aren't you?
Hey, Jace, where's Chris Johnson been playing most of the time? I haven't seen a lot of the Brisbane lines. Up in the back line, or
He's been used at both ends. I've seen him a couple of times start back and then end up forward.
They missed 4 goals today. They really should have kicked Brisbane.
Yeah.
4 pretty simple ones. That was probably
the hardest of the 4.
the hardest of the 4, is what I'm trying to say. Thanks, Hawk.
You're right.
Getting English lessons from you, mate. I'm in a bit of trouble.
Had to
The
give
thing
him a
is,
chop out.
if they kick those 4 goals, it makes it a much more respectable score, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Gives them a bit of hope.
Ratton to centre wing to Hickmott again. Very durable, isn't he? Done a great job today. Handball to Camporelli. His kick doesn't hit the target on this occasion. Mark taken by Chris Scott. Handball misses White, who rides the bump. Handball over the top. The Lions could build some run here. Notting. Now Lappin. Got some space. Could almost kick a goal here. He'll unload it from 60 towards the goal square. Manson.
Good mark.
Well, he had every reason to fall to ground then. Just held his feet. He did a terrific job. Short pass to Christou. Little chip over the top to his partner in crime, Koutafidis. His kick found Francina. Continues to run on with it. Kick towards half forward. Porter's back on the ground. Takes the mark. We were concerned he was injured, but all seems okay. Goes for Silvani. Too much on the kick.
Poor kick.
And picking at the back. Was able to mop up. He was off. He was definitely off.
50.
Oh, that's a bad decision. You've got to feel for Favola then, because he would have got dragged if he hadn't been chased, wouldn't he? And made the tackle. Can't just let someone run off the line.
It's one of those where it's a very fine line, but you have to wait until the umpire calls play on before you can come in from the side. It's one thing to anticipate it, but you still have to wait for the call.
Very lucky. Kick towards half forward. Christou did beautifully. Such an improved player this year from what we've seen in the last couple of years. Back to his best, isn't he? Handball from Hickmott to Hume towards half forward. Silvani looks just a little bit tired at the moment. Goes for the football, picks it up cleanly. Peels around the 297-game veteran. Handballs to the 340-game veteran, Bradley. Handball to the youngster, Favola. Go the banana kick. Set the crowd alight. Handball inside to Freeborn was disciplined. Just what the doctor ordered and just what the coach wanted. Freeborn's kicked a goal.
A couple of times today, Carlton have made something out of a pretty tough position in the pocket.
Chris do, Jason, was terrific then, wasn't he?
Look, a lot of players ran to give him a bit of an encouragement. He started all down back, but have a look at the way they work it down in the pocket here. Silvani's one that attacks. This is like a training drill. This is just playing possession football. It's called drawing a man and freeing up the next fellow. And every time the Brisbane Lions player was committed, they'd have another Blues player to give it to, and in the end, a goal.
Party time for the Blues, 52 points the margin. And have been dominant since about the 20-minute mark of the first quarter, really. After Brisbane kicked the first 2 goals of the game and had all the football. Porter, Hume did well, Koutafidis, they run in numbers, the Blues. Mansfield to half forward, Silvani in the back, free kick surely, play on. Here's a chance at the back for Favola, it sets. It will sit, handball over the top. Was brilliant. Levin has kicked it on the one.
You've got Favola.
A spectacular piece of play from Brendan Favola. Now, it looked like he just threw up a prayer, but he knew that Matthew Lappin was free in the goal square. What he had to do first was get clean possession of the ball deep in the forward line. Questionable whether Silvani perhaps should have got the free kick. He'd had a look out of the corner of his eye. He would have heard the call as well. Yeah. But how good was the hand pass over the shoulder? Straight to Matthew Lappin, who couldn't believe his eyes when he received it right in front of goals.
Well, when you look at the replay there, Jason, you couldn't imagine how you could see him.
Well, I think early on he knew he had a player there, but then he would have heard the call. He's been very impressive since coming on, Brendan Favola.
This is getting embarrassing for Brisbane. Massey towards half forward, another chance for Favola at the back. And the mark will be paid in front to Ashcroft. Kick was touched off the boot. No, it wasn't. Brown's taken the mark. Kick towards Kennedy, who takes it. Last minute inclusion, Kennedy today. Kicks towards half forward to Clark Keating in front. Couldn't quite hang on to it. Robbins did pretty well with the handball. Now Black runs around. Short pass to Voss was a beauty. Voss squares it up. Again, we say that indirect football. And I'll tell you what it's enabled. It's enabled Carlton to get 12 players inside defensive 50.
Silvani's off the ground. Voss had 5 players he could kick the ball to then. He went to the longest option. It was probably the right one to go to.
There's now 13 Blues inside defensive 50.
Look at this.
White's kick was different, to say the least.
Shocking.
And Hume takes the mark for the Blues. And they'll break very quickly here towards Cooter if he can hold it. Over the back, couldn't take it. Bradley just at the full of the football did well. Kicks for touch towards half forward. It won't sit yet for Houlihan, who's got no one in support. And in the end has to almost concede the football. Hickmott bursts through it beautifully. Left foot kick inside 50. Chance for Favola, who's just threatening to do something inspirational at any moment. Some heavy work off the football. Handball at the back came to Brad Scott. The Lions peel off. His twin brother Chris lays the handball over the top to Jonathan Brown, who's got a paddock to run in. Handball long on the left hand again to Chris Scott. Back to Keating, who's going to get rid of it quickly. He does, towards centre half forward. It's all Carlton. Porter in front. And Porter will be paid the mark and do a free kick.
Probably could have punched Alistair Limpson. He was certainly caught behind Porter on that occasion. Got a punch when he caught behind like that.
Porter to Hume. Mansfield's ran 40 metres to take the next possession. It won't end up with him. Instead it'll go to Houlihan. In fact, he was running off the ground, Mansfield.
Trying to sneak one on the way off.
He was. Now the Brisbane Lions have got numbers back. Houlihan goes for Favola, who had 4 to beat. Bradley went in hard. Hickmott went in hard. Notting was there also. Handball over the top was good to Ashcroft, who just steadies down and kicks towards centre wing. Good mark on that occasion too. Pickett in front of Doering. Handball to Kennedy.
No one to kick to here.
Lappin to half forward to Black. Back to Lappin. That's Nigel.
Have a look at this.
And at the back, Cooter just squats it towards the boundary line like he was squatting flies. Johnson just couldn't quite keep it in.
They just haven't utilised the ball the way they should, the Brisbane Lions. Every time they kick to a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-1 contest, they have loose players somewhere. Now, if those players aren't working hard enough, they've got no one to blame but themselves when they keep kicking it to
2-on-1
contests
all the time.
where they're outmanned. Exactly.
Massey. Now Black. Oh,
that would have gone in. That would have gone in
It
if he didn't get the arm to it, Ange Christou.
That's a classic soccer goalie stuff there from Ange Christou.
Crowd of 21,997 here at Optus Oval, and probably 21,990 of them are Blues supporters. They've been in good voice, haven't they?
And I reckon every one of them drove today too. Headbutt towards Camberelli. Short pass is coughed it up to Black, who'll kick the goal. What about that? Simon Black kicks the goal.
Well, he's been one of their better players, Simon Black. He's stuck to his guns. He's worked hard all game. He's now chalked up 25 possessions, 12 kicks, 13 hand passes, 3 goals.
What about this, Jace?
And 9 tackles. Well, I'll tell you what, he hasn't played a bad game, Scott Camporelli. He's knocked up getting the ball as well. He's had 28 possessions, but I've seen him play better when he's had 28 possessions. He hasn't quite utilised them the way he normally would. And on that occasion, he would have been bleeding as soon as the ball left the boot.
Shocking pass, wasn't it, really, by a bloke of his standards. It was really. He's going for coup de feet, there's no doubt about that, but really, his vision wasn't too good on that occasion, Camporelli.
Okay. Well, Horton holding back there. Brown.
It was a shocking kick.
To Keating. To Scott, who can probably kick a goal here, Chris Scott. Wants to. In the end goes short. Comedy of errors. The Blues will break on the rebound here. And a good chance to build some momentum here for the Blues again. Lapman. It's been party time for him today, Lapman. To Camporelli again.
Could have been a free kick.
Who probably had enough of the mark, but perhaps just a little bit distracted by conceding that goal.
I'll tell you what, it looked ordinary, but when Chris Scott was... no, he just didn't handle the ball, Scott Camporelli. When Chris Scott was running into the forward line, the reason he didn't kick the ball is because the 2 tall options up forward, Lynch and Brown, both led deep into the pocket. There was no point kicking it to them. They led to a one-on-one contest deep in the pocket. No one stayed in the corridor.
There's Ackermanis there, Jace, maybe injured.
You could have put him forward at some stage, Ackermanis, as a crumbing forward, I thought.
No wonder he's injured. He's got to be a bit sore.
Must be injured. Bradley to Hickmott. Now Hume. Clever hands and a good disposal by foot. Only as far as Mel Michael, who takes the marking and gets rid of his opponent. He might be gone here, Michael. Handball. Lapin.
So no targets to kick to. Players aren't working hard enough upfield. And that's what happens.
They've stopped running, haven't they? Ends up with Porter, who gives it off to Lapin. They share possession. His kick was errant. And a pretty good mark down the front row by the Blues supporter, who pelts the ball back.
Hutchie, we'll just go back to Jason Ackermanis. Yes, he's been off for most of this second half, and he's had extensive treatment on his right hamstring, so there's definitely a right hamstring problem there. No doubt the Brisbane Lions are going to suffer a pretty bad loss today here at Optus Oval, but to have him, one of their better players, off, that's tragedy.
Of course, Leppich also at the moment with hamstring problems, as is Power, I think, from memory.
Again, kicking to a 3-on-1. Porter just coming over the top of the pack. They just have to pick better options as well as execute their disposal a lot better, the Brisbane Lions.
Just watching here too, Jason. Jonathan Brown now has got the job on coup de feet. He's just following all over the ground at this stage. Be a good test for the young player.
White. And he's taken it on the second bite. Darryl White.
Just a nod to confirm, yes, thank you, umpire. I did take it. Good decision for paying it, just drifting across the front. There's the first touch and there's the second.
And Jace, you mentioned earlier in the quarter, it is incredibly dark down at ground level. Unbelievable.
White kicks towards half forward. Houlihan rove the football, handle over the top to Jordan Doring, who's been pretty impressive. Here's Kudar. Takes it at half forward. 30 possessions, 9 marks, 3 goals. There's nothing this man can't do at the moment. Bradley, quite a terrific game.
Get it back to him.
Might have one more season left in him yet, Bradley. Kick towards half forward. Over the top of Hume. Throw in.
It's interesting you talk about Jonathan Brown taking on a different role in the last quarter, Hook. I know that he actually, when he does his pre-season, he trains with the on-ball group.
Okay.
He has the capacity to run like an on-baller. That's what gives him such great opportunities to be a great player.
Ratton, kick on goal, not quite enough on it. Sorry, Jace.
No, that's okay. It's look, it could turn into a percentage builder for the Blues, but it's just interesting that you can have a bloke that's 19 years of age, he's 6'4" and it looks like he weighs 2,000 pounds. It's all muscle, but he can run like an on-baller as well. I know it hasn't been a great day for him, but certainly he's got some wonderful attributes.
Leadership qualities too, hasn't he? You get the feeling.
Yep.
Like a young Lance Whitnell. Mark taken by Nigel Lappin.
He's been better since half-time, Nigel Lappin. Certainly was dragged in that goal square by Craig Bradley for a little stage in that first half. Had a good second half, Lappin.
Kick to Scott. Again to Notting. Now Darryl White rockets a handball out to Ashcroft.
Just overusing it again.
Well, you've got Porter at the back there as a loose man in the back line. You've got Beaumont running around on his own at this stage as well. So, Jason, got 2 or 3 Carlton defenders just running around getting the back line a chop out.
I think the thing that would disappoint Lee Matthews the most, and I know they haven't really hit their best form this year, but from what we know they're capable of, the difference between their best performances and their worst performances is far too great. They have to establish some sort of level of consistency that's competitive.
Again, it ends up with Koutafidis. Back to his vintage best today, as he was last week. Kick inside 50. Punched away from the back. Ashcroft was there. Ridden off the football. Good holding the ball, said the umpire. Hickmott. The target will be Lappin and Porter at the back.
Too big.
Great mark. What an improved player he is.
Well, I know we spoke about it during the last break, Hutchie. He's just come of age when Matthew Allen got injured. And I know no one likes to see players get injured, and we hope that Matty Allen gets back as quickly as possible. But it's almost worked out to be a blessing in disguise for Mark Porter, because he's been basically had everything thrust upon his shoulders, and he's stepped up magnificently. It's been a real coming of age for him.
Promoted from the rookie list when the Minister for Sport here in Victoria, Justin Madden, retired. Porter kicks at goal and has missed.
Well, that matches Clark Keating's kick at the other end, doesn't it? But he's really come on in leaps and bounds, Mark Porter. Steve Silvani, he'd be satisfied with his day's work.
They've had 10 goal kickers too, Jason Carlton, so that's a bit of a plus for him as well.
Michael's kick finds that man that Jason speaks highly of, Jonathan Brown. Learning curve for him today. Chris Scott, kick towards half forward.
Now, they've got to move the ball on quickly, but there's not enough players working hard into the attacking 50.
Lynch did pretty well to even get one hand on that. It was going way over his head. Spins around, kicks in hope. Okay at the back, didn't sit for him. Johnson. Oh, the Dacos attempt there wasn't bad. Just rolls away for a minor score.
It's that thing again too, Jason. We get that impression in Melbourne that the Brisbane Lions just have trouble coming to Melbourne to win. They seem to win or play a lot better at the Gabba.
Well, let's not forget that they have travelled 9 out of the last 13 weeks. Now, it's not an excuse for a poor performance, but it's definitely a contributing factor.
Chris Duda, Camperelli on centre wing. Camperelli towards half forward. Favola. He's led with purpose today. Strong, forceful lead from Favola. Kicks towards half forward, taken by Houlihan.
Well done.
Runs around in a circle. Handball just missed Favola. Who can steady up. Bursts through a pack. Kicks inside 50 to another contest. Hickmott at the back.
Remember, played on to Camperelli.
To Camperelli. Kick on goal from Scotty Camperelli. And he says, Mark Porter, that one's for you, son.
Well, he was last man to that marking contest, Mark Porter. He timed his run beautifully. He was the 4th man up, and he just came storming over the top. Big set of hands, and just clean as a whistle. And even though he put the head down, he was quick enough to think, well, if there's a good option running by, I'll give it. I've just missed one directly in front. Why not give it to one of the more skillful players in the side in Scott Camperelli?
So the Blues lead by 10 goals. And really entrenched themselves at the top of the table.
Well, that's the thing, Hutchie. After Richmond's loss to Adelaide last night, this takes the Blues into the top 4.
They'll be 5-3 now.
And good percentage.
And have been the sleepers so far in the comp, haven't they? We forget last year that they won, I think, 9 or 10 in a row before they met Essendon. They had them on the ropes when Koutafidis went down. and Bradley went down. And with Cooter back to his best, he sent some good times ahead for the Blues and their supporters. Kick from half-back from Headland towards Johnson. Big fly from McKay, couldn't take it. Johnson kept his feet, that was good football. Goes again, Voss. He's just gone out of the game a little bit in the last quarter. Now Doering, likely tight this fellow. Kick towards half-forward, good mark taken by Rathen. Moves the ball on quickly to Franchina. Can he kick a goal, Franchina?
They've got Porter one out in the square. They've just got to kick it long to him.
Kick it high.
That's where he goes. Can he take it again, the big Porter? Goes again, one hand up, couldn't take it. Ball at the fall of the football. Towards Lappin, Brad Scott just paddles it over for a throw-in.
Oh, he's been pinged.
Oh, yeah. Crowd helped it too, I reckon. But,
Oh, be very careful. That's 50.
yep, he's not happy.
50 for abuse, and that will bring the kick directly in front of goal.
And boys, if you reckon he's not happy, what about Lee Matthews? 50-metre penalty from there. He will be livid.
Oh,
Very
it's pretty
undisciplined.
tough. There's nothing deliberately wrong there. That's a taken clean possession.
That's a tough decision.
No, I'm not saying that the decision may or may not be right, but
No,
you cannot abuse an umpire because you know it's going to be a 50-metre penalty.
I agree with you, Aussie. That's a lack of discipline. You can understand a player's frustration, but you know the rules these days. You have to bite your lips.
Yep.
And good to see the Carlton supporters have gone easy on Scott down there. As Lappin kicks his third, and I know he's just going from bad to worse for the Brisbane Lions.
Off the ground he goes. What for? Brad Scott coming off the ground, boys, for that one.
Well, credit to Brad Scott. At least he kept the head up and he ran off quickly. He did everything right, at least insofar as getting dragged goes, Douglas.
You're right, Jason.
It's a poor feeling. Look,
yeah, a little bit stiff.
This isn't taking clean possession. He's
no,
tried
exactly.
to.
There's no way he tapped that over the boundary line. But once the decision's given, you can't change the mind.
And it's an emotional game.
Yeah,
The
it's
fight,
stiff.
as you two know better than me, but surely it's a natural reaction. If you try and take possession, the ball goes out of bounds, and you can dispute the umpire's decision. Albeit probably not with those choice of words, but anyway. Beaumont, handball to Massey. Freeborn. She has spent some possessions for Carlton this last half. Bradley again. Everyone's dipping their bread in the, what's the saying? I'll think about that later on.
Yep.
Lemon kick inside 50. Chance here again for Cooter Peters. Couldn't take it. Thanks for your help, Jace. Cooter trying to get it out. Black was in there also. Now Notting with a handball over the top to Pike. Sits for him.
Whoa.
Handball again towards Ashcroft. He kicks towards centre wing. And a good mark to Jonathan Brown. Can't think of that saying. Brown kicks towards half forward.
Red and the purple or along the same bloodlines? What are you trying to say?
Everyone's getting a piece of the action. Oh, I can't think of it. Kick towards half back. Beaumont towards centre wing. Mark taken by Christou. Squares it up to Bradley.
What about Cooter's stats, boys? 17 kicks, 17 handballs, 11 marks, and 3 goals. He may get a vote here today, Cooter.
You're giving them, so I'd suggest you'd get lynched if you didn't put him in the votes.
And he's certainly had a chance for an apology also.
Yep.
Customary 5 or 6 from Hawke. Here's Lappin on centre wing. Kicks inside 50, turned it over. Just some of these possessions for Carlton. Ratton 27, Hickmont 24, Lappin 25, Camporelli 30, Beaumont 27, Christou 20, Koutafidis 34. Big numbers, aren't they?
Oh, no, what?
Turned it over, Freeborn. Got a handball out to Hickmont. Again to Koutafidis for possession number 35. Hickmont again on the end of it. He's a good kick normally. That one's a beauty as well. Ratton is favoured by the kick. Couldn't quite take the mark. And indeed, Notting did pretty well. And weathered the abuse from the social club.
Well, they won't have very fond memories of Optus Oval, the Brisbane Lions. They'd won 2 out of 13 before today. It's now 2 out of 14 against Carlton here at Optus.
Is it a mental thing?
Well, I think it does become that when you haven't won at a ground for a long time and you know you're just going to be hounded by the crowd. I mean, it does become a mental block, but players these days have to be professional enough to overcome that. They got the good start. They kicked the first 2 goals, but then it all went horribly wrong. They just haven't worked hard enough today. They haven't wanted it badly enough.
Headland's kick was intercepted by Favola. Getting ready for the Wolf here. There we go, Christou towards half forward to Ratton. Goes on the left side, short pass was a good one. And a nice low to the ground catch by Houlihan.
And Jace, you've summed it up in one sentence, mate. Carlton have wanted it more, Brisbane just haven't wanted it enough.
And the good thing from the Carlton's point of view is that players like Favola and Houlihan, these type players, can get their confidence up. They're getting plenty of it, really starting to have some sort of influence at senior level, and that just stands them in very good stead for the coming rest of the season.
Well, Ryan Houlihan has kicked 1 goal today in the second term. He is a beautiful kick for Gale. He'll kick from outside 50, but he's a beautiful kick. And that's low, low and good. A great goal. Another one to the Blues.
Absolute percentage booster now. An absolute percentage booster for the Blues. This will take them right into the top 4, and it's, well, apart from the game against Essendon that they won earlier in the season, this would be their second best performance of the year without a shadow of a doubt.
And next week, Jason, the Kangaroos will play Carlton. Adelaide will take on Brisbane. Yeah, just saying there that the Adelaide Crows will take on Brisbane next week at the Gabba on Saturday night, and the Kangaroos will take on Carlton Friday night.
Okay.
The good news for Carlton is this is the first time for the year they've actually strung 2 wins together on the trot.
2 in a row.
Here's Frankina towards centre half forward. Kuda went up, couldn't take it. Here's Houlihan, kick on goal again.
Whoa. Good play there by Francina.
On
Final
behalf of the
score.
players of both teams, patrons are requested to please keep
Don't work you two out.
until after the second siren.
You're right though, Jace, they will lead Frog to 4th on the table.
After the second siren.
What about Chris Scott's stats, boys? He's had 19 kicks, 13 handballs, 13 marks, and make that 14 marks and 2 tackles. Been terrific, Chris Scott.
Had a good day. Cotton gave him the big don't argue and was ripped off it and got the free kick in the end. Nothing like seeing a player get the big don't argue, Hawk.
Well, you got to give it every now and then, don't you?
You be careful with the fend, though, because they often penalise the person fending for pushing high.
Yep.
Made
You've got to do it the right way.
Who was the best at the big don't argue ever, Hawk?
Well, don't argue.
The big don't argue. Who was the best at that?
Gee, Dipper used to do it well,
Dipper
but
was
he
good.
used the elbow more often than not.
What about Tony Lockett?
Plugger was good at it.
Yes. Hickmott in front, couldn't take it. And a free kick's been plucked for too high. It will go the way of Adrian Hickmott.
Big Jane Hickmott, been
What an
terrific.
afternoon he has had, as Hawk just mentioned. 14 kicks, 12 handballs, 4 marks, 4 tackles, which is Carlton's best in terms of tackling also. And he's kicked 1 goal.
And I think Chris Scott was a little bit upset with this decision.
Oh, it was
But
there.
yeah, it was there.
It was there,
It was
Jason.
there.
Hickmott kicks at goal and misses.
Pulled it badly.
1-1 for the Dave. And 11 goal scorers today. The Blues against Brisbane's 4.
You can't.
It was the right arm that came over the shoulder that
Yeah.
was the reason the free kick was given.
So we're winding down here at Optus. Scott brings the ball back into play. Big fly from his brother Brad, and he's conceded the free kick.
Now, I thought he got a fist to that as he came over the top. He punched the ball. What was wrong with that?
Mansfield inside to Ratton. Now Camberelli again sweeps in, loads it up and kicks off to the right. What do you think, Hawk?
Well, I must admit, Jason, I didn't quite catch it, that last one.
It wasn't a particularly
Here we are now.
classy
Here we are,
jump.
Jace.
He jumps, but he punched that with the right arm. What's wrong with that? And that's paid for in the back.
Well, he did touch
Mansfield
the
didn't even
ball.
go to
No,
the ground.
Well, it touched the ball. Mansfield kept his feet.
Just keep paying attention, Hawk. The game's nearly over.
Yeah, I'm still with you.
White, kick towards half-back. Mark taken by Shattuck. Handball again to Johnson. Some good signs from Johnson in the second half. He's run into a bit of form. Headland lays a handball off to Brad Scott. Handball towards Keating. He heard his teammate yell out, kick, and that's exactly what he did. Manson, handball. Oh, Dorian Clever. Beautifully done there towards Christou. Handball back to Bradley, who sets them up from half-back to Manton.
We haven't seen a lot of Doering so far, but he looks a good prospect, doesn't he? Looks very,
good,
very good.
Jason.
Manton's kick wasn't good at all, but Francina
Good
can't
kick.
work that one out. There's Hume. Back to that man again.
Francina.
Squares it up to Ratton. Thank you, Hawk. Ratton's kick inside 50 was a beauty towards Camberelli. Couldn't take it. Robbins did pretty well. Here's Kuda. Just says,
Throwing
get
it.
out of my way. Gives the handball off again. He'll go again, Kuda here. Ends up with it. No, Camberelli does. Oh, it's party time at the moment for the Blues. A big chance for Hickmore at the back. And Michael, who just had enough presence of mind to take the mark, lays the handball off the pike. And the Lions clear from half-back as the siren sounds to put us out of our misery and to put the Blues into a state of euphemism in the crowd, because they won easily today, the Blues. Final scores: Carlton 21-16, 142. The Brisbane Lions 9-14-68, a 74-point margin.
Yes, in the end, it certainly was a percentage builder to the Blues. They'll find themselves in the top 4. Not a lot to take out of this match for the Brisbane Lions, I wouldn't have thought. And I think Richard Osborne has Cooter with him, Aussie.
Yeah, well, interesting speaking to Cooter in a week where Kevin Sheedy was talking about the ball. I thought you had your own out there today. 36 possessions, I think it was. You'd be happy with your own form?
Yeah, I was pretty happy with that. It's been a while. I've just been working pretty hard to try to find a bit of form, and today was a crucial game against Brisbane Lions, who've been playing really well. So we're happy to come away with the 4 points.
And the team in general, Porter, Favola down forward, there's some key options there now.
Yeah, today all the boys were great. It was a great team effort. We put in from the start to the finish, and we needed a game like this, so it's good of us to get over the line the way we did.
It's always great to see you in such good form. Thanks for your time, mate.
Well done, Aussie, and a great performance from Anthony Koutafidis, 36 possessions and 3 goals. Final scores: the Blues 21-16, 142, the Lions 9-14, 68.
Fantastic 74-point win to the Blues there, and that's moved Carlton into the top 4 of the AFL ladder. Let's hear it again for Carlton.
I'll tell you when they're going to do the song. You do it in there. You do it in. Am I going in there? Yeah, I'd say. Okay, mate. Which is through, so. Yep. Yep.
They like to send us, we'll keep our ends up, and then we'll